Ange, evening Ange. Oh wow, we've got a few in. Evening everyone. How is everyone today? Can everyone hear me okay? Just give us a thumbs up if everyone can hear me okay. Evening. Daniel Wright. Daniel, I don't know if I've seen you on here before. Nice to have some gentlemen in the room anyway. Tammy, good evening. Yes, can hear okay. Thanks, Daniel. Cheers for that. Julie Bye. Yep. Thumbs up, Laura. Good evening, everyone. How is everyone today? How is everyone in their world? How are you feeling now, Amy? Not much better, to be honest. As you can probably tell by my demeanour, by my tone of voice. Just nipped out for an hour there. That's why I've gone live tonight. The football team I normally play for was having a football match tonight, but I wasn't in the frame of mind to play football. So I just went to be among the lads for an hour and hoping it would sort of cheer me up, but no, it hasn't really. So, Teaspoony. Now, Teaspoony, you're new. I've not seen you before. So yeah, it hasn't really lifted the mood, and to be honest, the last place I want to be is here. But you know what? I promised when I started this a week or so ago that I would go live regardless of what. So whether I was feeling happy, whether I was feeling sad, whether I was feeling angry, and I think it's only fair that if we're going to talk about mental health and be completely honest, then there's no better place than to be when you're in the dark place. And I'll be honest, I've been in a dark place today. Lovely Wrexham. Hi Mel, how are you doing? So I don't know what the reason is. I've spoke to my wife today and I explained to her on the phone. I dropped her off this morning at her mum's, which is about 20 minutes away. She was on a lunchtime flight, so I dropped her off about 9 o'clock. Gave me time to get back to work. And the second I dropped her off, on the way back I just pulled over and I just went, and every emotion came out of me. Every emotion came out of me. Sadness, anger, desperation, and I just sobbed for 5 or 10 minutes. And I think it's just a case of these last few weeks with obviously what she's been going through, and you've got to be strong for your partners, and I would always be strong for my wife, but it has affected me. It has affected me, and I just think when I dropped her off this morning, I think it all just came out. Obviously I do, I always struggle when she's not here anyway, so she's a massive part of my life, my wife, not just as my wife, but as my best friend, as everything, and seeing her struggle these last few weeks, and having to be strong for her, and then dropping her off this morning. I don't know if it was maybe just a release, I don't know, but the gloom hasn't lifted all day. I was busy at work. When I'm at work, you're almost like an actor, you're putting on a game face. So yeah, game face has been on today. Busy at work, very busy at work. Hey, Fidget Sisters, how are you doing? So yeah, I just let it all out, and then I've come home tonight. My son's here, and you've got to be strong for your son. And he went upstairs, and again I just sat on the sofa with my little puppy. Well, I say little puppy. She's nearly 8 months old now, and just let it go again. It's just one of them days, and it could run into tomorrow, the day after. Could wake up in the morning a completely different person, but I've gone through about 4 or 5 different personalities today. I've been sad, I've been proper depressed, ugly tears. Yeah, that's God. Yeah, you're right. There were tears of, and it's funny because I let it all go, and the one person I needed right there and then to give me a hug was my wife. I have spoken to her tonight, and I did tell her that when I left her. I pulled her. I tell her everything. I don't hide anything from her. And I said to her, but listen, she's in the UK. We all know why she's there. She's at a funeral on Wednesday for her dad, and it's such a traumatic time. And I think part of it as well was the fact I want to be with her. My mum's with her, but I want to be with her. But obviously we have businesses to run, and we can't just abandon the businesses. But that's life, unfortunately, when you live in a different country. And somebody back in the UK passes away, and you want to be there, but you've also got these responsibilities here that you can't just let go. So it was tough seeing her go. It was tough not being with her. It's been tough being strong for her, And then when I dropped her off, I was just able to just have a massive release. It's horrible. I remember you telling me that. Chronic post-traumatic stress disorder and other horrible stuff. Unless you're in it. Let me just go through some of these comments, guys, that you've sent in. So listen, How is Kay? Amy Louise, she's, like I say, I spoke to her at about 6:05 before I left the house. Well, 6:05 my time. Just to say I was nipping off out for an hour to watch the guys play football. And she was in strong spirit. She was at her dad's house with a stepmum and a mum. All there, everyone's there. Wearing one of her dad's hoodies, which is nice. She was just sat in his garden. She sent me a picture of the garden. She was just sitting in his garden, freezing her tits off, by the way. I mean, she's not used to it. I mean, I'm actually sweating here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm actually warm. I've got some kitchen roll. I'm actually sweating. It is actually warm. I've got no heating on. I've got a couple of windows open and it's winter here, but God, it's freezing in the UK. But she's okay. Wednesday's going to be a tough day for her. But she has got a mum there. She's got a stepmum there, and all the family's coming from Italy. So yeah. But today has been an absolutely shit one, and trying to explain how I felt today was. I felt worse. I mean, I felt a hell of a lot worse in stages of 1 to 10. 10 being the ultimate way you make that ultimate choice. I'd probably say I was about a 5 or 6 today, so still a long way to go before I'm in the depths of depression. But it has been a tough day, and that's why I made my video this morning. I said I still want to come on and do a live, because when I started this thing and I said to people, I want people to see me warts and all. I want people to relate to me. I want people to relate to the way I am today and how I'm feeling today. And I've got to be honest with you, today's been just a really, really dark cloud, just sitting there. And no matter what I say to myself, no matter what I do to try and cheer me up, I left work and went and put some fuel in the car. Went and did a bit of shopping for my son. He wanted some bits and bobs from the supermarket, so I went to the supermarket and I just couldn't even smile at the lady behind the counter. And this is something where I say to you, like, over the years where you lose friends and you lose jobs and things, people don't understand it. The lady in the supermarket doesn't know that I have borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and I suffer day to day. So she's probably just seen me today and thought, God, he's a miserable bastard. What have I done to you to upset you? But that's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. God, we've got a lot of messages here. It's horrible seeing you. I've just read that one, Fidget Sister. Yes, it is tough. I'm going to try and read some of your comments, because sending you much love, Jay. Thank you very much, Kiki. Okay, evening, guys. But I don't know if Kay's going to be watching. She's not popped up yet, but I think she did say she might try and tune in. But I don't expect her to be. I know she's with her family, and so I don't expect her to tune in. But she's home Thursday, so she's got to do what she's got to do. And again, I just wish I could be there for her, because as a bloke, as a masculine bloke, I like to feel like, that. I'm there for my wife, and I'm strong for my wife, and I think that's got me down as well. I've tried to analyse why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. I think it's just the fact that she's not here for me, I'm not there for her, and to be honest, neither one of us copes very well without the other one for long periods of time. And I suppose that's a lovely thing to do, but there's probably people out there thinking, God, that's ridiculous, when you can't sort of cope with your partner. But that's the way we are. The Observer at Care thinking of you. Thank you, The Observer. Yeah, and thanks for putting that live up last week for me and Lisa. If you can, send me the links. I want to try and put it on my own YouTube. But thanks for tuning in as well. That's lovely. I've been watching your stuff and I've been following you. I think you do some great things. So yeah, wonderful. Let me just read something. Oh, Kay's on there. She is. There's my baby. How you doing, darling? Well, we got a hell of a following tonight. 78 people have tuned in. So okay, no pressure tonight then. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad, isn't it? How we can go from, happy-go-lucky, see me on the beach on Saturday in a really nice place, being strong, and then, a couple of days later, your head's up your arse. If you can hear any noise, it's just my cats. I've got 2 cats here. We've got 4 cats actually, but we've got one that's a little kitten. He's about 4 or 5 months old, and we've only had him about 3 weeks, and he's an absolute freaking idiot. He's bouncing around the room. He's running up his cat pole. He's trying to pull the blanket off the parrot in the corner there. So the parrot's now... So it's going to sound like a bloody zoo in here soon. The cats are going to be screeching. The parrot's going to be screeching, telling everyone to F off. But you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world. This is my life. This is our life. Let's have a look what we got then. Okay, totally understand. Thinking of you, much love. Over from the comic community. Thank you very much. Yeah, Hayley joined one of our lives last week. Hey, Joe. Thinking of you and your wife. Thank you, Betty. Yeah, Hayley Comet joined our live last week, and Yeah, I actually really liked her. I mean, I've commented a few times, sent a couple of messages, and I've seen things on, YouTube where people diss her and stuff. But you know what? Do you know what? I don't go for all that shit. If I've got something to say to someone, I've said this before. I've got something to say to someone, I'd rather look you square in your eye and just tell you I like you or tell you I don't like you. There's no point standing there and calling people this, calling people that. That just says more about you than them. And most of the people who say it about Hayley, about other people, maybe me as I become more prominent on here, maybe me, it's just, I'm not asked. It's the little things in life like that really, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? These people don't really matter to me, so the only way to say is bollocks to them, I suppose. Comic community is strong. It is strong, yeah. She's got a great following. Do you know what? She does some good stuff. She does some good stuff. I've got nothing bad to say about her. I've got nothing bad to say about anyone really. If someone comes into my TikTok, onto my YouTube, which, like I said, my YouTube's, I have 60 odd subscribers. It's hardly a YouTube channel at the moment. But whether I end up with 63 or 63,000, if someone comes in there and wants to diss me, fine, let them. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. And people can call Hayley what they want. She's a young mother with 3 children, and she's only doing good. So yeah, I like her. Me too. Comic community all the way. Yeah, too right. Comic community is strong. All Hayley's crew are here to help support you. Thank you very much, Chloe. I am seeing a lot of new faces on here, which is lovely. Names I've not seen before. I hope you guys are following me. I only want to try and do good on here. As you all know, I want to do something with the homeless. That's on there. At the moment, there's not a lot happening on that GoFundMe, but I've got things in the pipeline to help push that along. I've got a couple of lives to do with some prominent people on here, people who've got 300,000-400,000 followers. Some of the people you will be well aware of. You will know. I had a WhatsApp today, voice message off somebody who's very, very prominent on here, and he's gonna sort of get alive with me and chat about the mental health. He has a mental health charity that he's massively involved with. So that's all going to link in. At the moment, like I say, this is only my 4th live on my own. I think is it my 3rd or 4th live. So I'm new to this, guys. I'm just finding my feet, and I'm just trying to build this community, and I'm also just trying to help as many people as possible. And I will do it. I will succeed. She's the best creator on here, hands down. Like I say, Moonlight, she is good. I've not seen a lot of creators, to be honest. A lot of them I don't attend. A lot of lives you click on, and it's just 3 or 4 people just screeching in a corner. And I seen one today. It was 2 blokes, and we were just talking about the size of the manhoods and that. And I just thought, really? And there was like 3 people watching them, and I just thought, I don't get that. I don't understand it. It was not about anything in particular. It was just 2 blokes just being weirdos, to be honest. And I suppose you get that. You're doing great. Just keep up being you. Thank you. Hope you and your wife are good. Cheer. Thank you, Cherise. Hayley is fab in a great community. Yeah. And you know what? That's what I want to build on here. I want to build a community, and hopefully we're going to do that. Hopefully, if all the people who can come from, who've seen Hayley, come and watch me, and hopefully they like the content that I do on here. And they can follow me and help me on my journey, and we can all help each other, really. Comic crew here to support you, Jay. I like this comic community with supportive comments. Yeah. All Hayley's crew are here to help and support you. Fantastic. Wow, the messages are coming in thick and fast. Thick and fast. All those real kind people stick together. You're absolutely spot on. Do you know what? I like that, the saying, real people, because there's a lot of not real people, isn't there? Much love to your wife and your family, strength and humanity and being real. There's my missus again. Hope you're doing well, darling. Hope you're okay over there. Not freezing too much. Lily Rose sent a heart. We will support you. It's about supporting each other, isn't it? How's you both doing? I'm struggling today, Mel, and I know my wife's struggling at the moment. It's a tough time as a couple. And like I say, for the next 4 days, she's in the UK, I'm here. I'm holding things together here, she's holding things together there. And I think that's why the dark clouds come over today, because she's not here or I'm not there. Like I say, we function much, much better as a couple. We don't do well apart. We don't. We genuinely don't. And like I say, I left her this morning about 9 o'clock, 9:10, dropped her off at her mum's with the bags and things. She was flying at lunchtime, and I drove away. I got about a kilometre down the road, and there's like an old farm, which is like an old goat farm, and I just pulled into the lay-by next to it, and I just felt this release of emotion, and it was just tears for a few minutes. And I pulled myself together and thought, right, let's go to work. So yeah, I drank my coffee, got into work. The cloud didn't lift, and then before I knew it, customers were in the door, and I was just busy. Game face came on, and you know, every time a customer goes out, you've got to sort of suck it back up and get back. But I got through it. Spoke to my missus tonight. Because like I say, she's amazing. I'm here from Hurley's. Amy, thank you, Amy. All those real kind people stick together. Yeah, we've read that one. I like that. Real kind people. Belfast creators support you. Lily Rose, thank you. Right, I'm going to go through some of these comments, guys. Hope you're okay, Paul. I'll get there. I will get there. Thanks. Cheers. Like I say, this is borderline personality disorder. Tomorrow I could be a completely different personality. Tomorrow I could just be angry. You know, everyone could piss me off. I mean, literally everyone could piss me off. I'm just driving home now where I live, not too far from here. Probably quarter of a kilometre down the road. We turn off the main roundabout, and there's a big supermarket on the right, and our estate is sort of in behind there. And whenever we turn off the roundabout, we sort of turn right off the roundabout because we're on the right hand side of the road. And the entrance and exit to the supermarket's on the right. And they always go slow because they just presume we're going in there, but we're not. We're going past it into the estate. And this, all I can say is an idiot. He come flying out, and I hit my brakes. And instead of wanting to shout at him, I just want to cry. I just want to pull over and just say, fuck's sake, leave me alone today. You know, just... So again, I'm not angry. I'm just really sad and just... You know, and I don't know how my mood's coming across to you guys, but if any of you have seen me on my lives recently, like I said, I wanted to be as authentic as I possibly could be. And whenever I was in a bad space, or when I was manic or depressed or overexcited, loud, angry, whatever personality or emotion I was going through, I wanted to always be authentic, and people say that. So I hope, you know, I don't know how I'm coming across to you guys, but you know, maybe if you can sense, you know, every feeling is valid. Yeah, it is. It is. Now, usually I've got my missus here, and I've got my little puppy. She's still training, to be honest. She goes outside and does her business, but we've got a puppy pad just on the floor down there, near the like the family room at the back of the house, and I keep sniffing because I've just heard her go down there and had a little rustle. Here she is. Come here, baby. Here she comes. Let me just get my little girl. You can all meet her. Come here, sweetheart. Come here, baby. Come here. No, she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to. But she's having a little mooch about, and I'm expecting soon to sniff up, and she'll have done something on a mat. But at the moment, no, nothing. But that's the joys of having a puppy. You just think you've cracked the puppy train, and you move the mats away, and then you turn around and there's a big steaming turd in the middle of the floor. Fortunately, in Spain, everywhere's tiled. We don't have carpets and things. Everywhere's tiled, so it's much easy. Quick pick up, quick mop, and it's all good to go. But usually with Kay being here, she'll pop in every 10 minutes. So yeah, if I do have to nip off for a second, it'll be literally to pick up some dog poo. Okay, not nice, is it? Hope you're okay. Every feeling is valid. It is valid. I've got that too, and I know your pain. Yeah, you've got BPD, haven't you, Mel? I remember you saying. So you can totally relate to just waking up in the morning, and I woke up this morning, I felt this way, but I had to be strong, Jay. I had to just be the Jay that my wife needed. And like I say, I think it was more like a release when I sort of dropped her off. It was more like a release, just of emotion of the last sort of week or two, seeing her struggling, being strong for her. I think that was just my time, but for me to just sort of let it go. Obviously my grief as well, seeing her struggling and everything. So, and I just don't think that's lifted since then, to be honest. I just think the whole day's gone that way. Let's see what else we got. It's hard for people to understand as facts. Yeah, it is hard for people to understand you. Yeah, and it's hard for people to understand when you. Yeah, I can smell something. I think she's just gone and done something. No, we're okay. Let's just go through some of these comments. There's people with a real MH mental health need to stick together. Yeah, we do. You're strong for each other. My boy has separation issues, which is normal, Jay. Keep your head up, Jay. Thank you. Thank you, Nazza. Have you got a shop out there or something, mate? Yeah, we have a mobile phone business, and my wife has a pet store, which, yeah, we work for ourselves, and it's the best way to be, really. It's the best way to be for me, because for any of you people who didn't catch my first couple of lives, for me throughout my life, from leaving the forces and then driving trucks for a living for a few years before I got into the mobile phone industry, going through jobs from, sometimes I could start a job on a Monday and tell the boss to go shove it up his arse on a Friday, not because he'd done anything wrong or the job was shit or the money was poor, just because my BPD was just the way it was. Bear with me, guys, 1 second, stay there. You pick your timing, little girl. You certainly pick your timing. You certainly pick your timing, little girl. Yes, guys, I was absolutely spot on. I got a little a little smell there. Just washed my hands. Little girl decided to just, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we have a shop. I've got a mobile shop out here, Lily Rose, and my wife's got a. Well, we've got a mobile phone shop, and we've got a pet store between us. So, and we are gonna be moving into other industries out here, both linked to our pet store, but. We love animals, and we love to rescue animals ourselves, and we haven't got a house full of animals, don't get me wrong. We've got dogs and we've got cats and a parrot and a lizard, but some people out here have got like 12 cats and things like that. We're not that kind of people, but the animal situation out here is very bad. There's a lot of unwanted dogs. You can imagine there's a lot of expats come and live here, and it doesn't work out. 6 months, a year, they come out here and they get a dog, and before you know it, they're moving back to England. But instead of taking them dogs to pounds, they just dump them in streets. So a lot of animals are in a bad state, and so we want to get involved in the future in that in the animal rescue sort of thing. So maybe an animal sanctuary, that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's so many different opportunities out here, but you've got to work hard. You have got to work hard. So let's have a look. Actually, massive positive. See you both soon. Hannah, thank you very much, Hannah. Holly, it didn't snow, that's a little joke. You've made the positive decision to still come live. I'm proud of you. Thank you very much, Lisa Jane. It's not been a good day at all, and it's not going to be. I came on a little bit later, and the only reason being, like I say, I don't know if any of you guys were on earlier, my football team I play for, they were having a friendly game just about 10 minutes from here. And although I wasn't going to play, and I told them I didn't want to play because obviously with everything that's going on in my life, it wasn't really the best time for me to be involved, but I was going to go along and watch. So I went along and watched the guys. They kicked off at 6:30, but I got there, they kicked off a bit earlier. So I got in at about 7:30 my time. That's why I came on an hour later. But to be honest, it's probably a better time of night for me. I've noticed there's a lot more people on this evening. I know I've gained a lot more followers through Haley's crew on here, which is big up the Haley Comet crew. So yeah, I needed to go out. I needed to just try and see if I could pull my head out my arse a little bit, and just be around the guys. And it was nice being there. But I made a video recently on here, and I actually sent it to the guys on our WhatsApp group. And a lot of the guys who I play football with weren't aware of just how my mental health affects my day-to-day life, how it's affected most of my 53 years of my life. And today was the first time I actually saw them since I saw that video a week or so ago, and the response I got, the hugs and everything. These are grown men, and I turned up, most of them were on the pitch because it started. The manager, me mate Wayne, and there was Phil there and Gary there, and they all came over, and it wasn't just a handshake, it was a hug, and it was how you doing, and it was genuine. And hopefully, I was hoping that would sort of drag me out of it, but it hasn't. But I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went to see the guys. I'm glad I went, and I'm glad I got out the house for an hour. But again, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at about a 5 to 6 today in the depression stakes. when it's 7 or 8, there's no chance of me going to see the lads. I'm coming home from work, I'm sitting on the sofa, I'm dropping the blinds down, I'm putting the TV on, I'm just staring at the TV, and sometimes I don't even take in what I'm watching. It's just, I don't want to go see people. So, you know, although I'm down today and the dark clouds have come over me, you know, there's a lot worse than this to come, and I hope one day when I am feeling like that, I do still come on here. But it's lovely seeing and hearing the support that I'm getting. It really is. Evening, mate. Tomorrow's another day. You're right, it is. Thank you. But again, with if anyone understands borderline personality, I'll try and explain it. It's where you flip-flop from different personalities. You can go through 4, 5, 6, got even numerous personalities in the course of an hour. You know, you can be manic happy, then you can be, you know, sometimes I'm at work with my wife in the office and a customer will leave and we'll just close the door and I'll just say, can I have a hug? And she'll say, you okay? And I'll say, no, I'm struggling. And she'll hold me, I'll cry. She won't say anything, she'll just hold me, and that's sometimes all I need. And then we open the door and we go again. That's what it's like. You imagine people with bipolar, they can be manic for weeks and weeks and months, and they can go out and spend money they haven't got and get in such a situation, and then they can go into depression for weeks. Sometimes it can last into months. Borderline personality is like that, but it's over short period. You know, you can go into depression for several days, but usually you're in and out of different emotions pretty quickly. So you can be manic. You can be manic for a day or two, and you do the same. You'll go out and you'll spend money you haven't got. You can be depressed for a few days, and you literally don't want to go anywhere. But it's literally over the course of days you can go through many different emotions. I lost my husband over 3 years ago, and a few months before I lost my brother. Suddenly it's very AG. That is something that no one should have to go through, but unfortunately people are going through it far too much. Far too much. My heart goes out to you. So proud of you for sharing. I always said from the beginning of this, guys, I was going to share. I was going to be completely authentic and honest with you, you know. And like I say, we need a lot more men. I've noticed there's quite a few more men on here tonight. Can I say how strong you are and coming and saying your feelings? Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you, Holly. But I did say at the beginning I wanted to be completely authentic. I wanted to be honest. I wanted to be completely open, and when I was having them days to still come on and do a live. I mean, I've got up this morning, I've not even sort of put any beard oil in, brushed my beard, I've not even shaved my head. I've literally got up this morning and I just could not be arsed. I just couldn't be arsed. And who knows, I might get up in the morning and I might not be arsed to shave my head there. It's just how you're feeling at the time, you know. You're doing what is the most important thing, and that is talking about your feelings. I am, Mel, but you know what? There's not enough men do it, and there's still not enough men on this group doing it, and we need to get more men involved. Over the last few days, I've followed a lot of men's groups, and I've gone through the follow list, and I've just followed lots of men, because they're on them groups for a reason. You know, these are men's mental health groups, so there's a reason why them guys are on there. And I've had quite a few follow me back, and I've noticed a couple on here tonight. So that's good. We don't care what you look like. We're grateful. Listen, I don't care what I look like today, honestly. I genuinely don't. Totally agree with you there, Jay. I mean, last night we were sat, and I said to my wife, we had a chicken, so she popped a chicken in. I said, pop me a chicken in the oven, so when I come in from work tomorrow, I'll have something to eat. And if she hadn't have done that and I didn't have the chicken, I probably wouldn't have bothered tonight, to be honest. You good, Jay, Amanda? Tough day. It's been a tough day, Amanda. It's okay not to be okay. I know, Declan, thank you. Nice to meet you, Declan. I'm not sure if you've been on here before, but if you haven't, nice to meet you. But listen, guys, any of you guys on here, it takes guts, especially for men. I have 2 sons and grandsons, and you worry about them. The problem we've got at Moonlight 33 is, and I've been there, is admitting that you've got an issue and asking for help and saying them 4 words. I always say it, I need some help. You know, you watch me all the time from Belfast. Yes, I do remember Declan. Yes, I do. My husband struggles. Nikki, is your husband on TikTok? Or does he have YouTube? I mean, on the top of my profile here, I've got a YouTube channel, and all these videos go on there that I just literally upload them straight onto YouTube. You know, if he's got YouTube or if he's got TikTok, get him to follow me. Get him to just watch some of my videos, and hopefully, if your husband struggles, hopefully, you know, just seeing a guy like me might just help him. It might. That's what I want. I want to be able to help everybody, but I also, my main concern is men. Don't take that the wrong way for all the women on here. But you women have this knack of being able to talk a lot more than men. You do talk a lot more than men, but men, it's almost like it's not masculine for a man to say, I need some help. But trust me, I did it, and I'm not saying it. Well, it has changed my life, of course it has, because until I got a diagnosis, I just thought I was an evil person. I just thought I was losing friends, and all my relationships back in the day when I was younger, they all went tits up. I went from leaving the forces, I went from job to job and friendship to friendship, and it was never my fault, it was always theirs, and everyone was a bastard and blah, blah, blah. And when I got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and they told me the reason why most people end up with borderline personality disorders is usually something to do with childhood trauma, and I can completely 100% agree with that. I suffered a traumatic childhood. I had a stepmother who was not a nice person, and she didn't scold you with the words, she would scold you with fists. So that's about as far as I'm going to go into that. But I did say over the weeks I would start talking more about my childhood. So when I got my diagnosis, it explained a hell of a lot. The borderline personality disorder. I mean, when I looked it up onto Google, and it gave the description, 90% of the time it's caused by childhood trauma, and there you go. That was it. Boom, straight away. And then when you look at the symptoms of it, hard to maintain relationships, hard to maintain friendships, hard to maintain jobs. It was like a revelation for me. So, saying it changed my life, it has changed my life. It doesn't help the illness, but what it does do, it explains a lot. It does explain a hell of a lot. And it explains a lot of my past, why I acted in a certain way, why relationships, why friendships, why jobs, all that kind of thing, why these things happened. And so it was such a kind of revelation. I went through a spell, I think I've said this the other week, I will repeat myself because there's new people on here from every week. I went through a spell of when I found out, I wanted to get in touch with all the people from my past, like people I'd fallen out with, or an ex-girlfriend or something, to explain that why I was this person. But then I thought to myself, no, I don't need to do that. I don't need to. All I need to do now is think about my future, me and my wife and my son, and my future and my future up here. Because going back, you can't change the past. You really can't change the past. But what you can do is you can certainly help your future. And the way I help my future is by being open and honest. And since my diagnosis, I've always been open and honest with my wife. I've always told her when I'm feeling low and down. And that is often. That is often. And it's a stigma for men, isn't it? And it's awful that they feel they can't speak. It is. And how many years have people been saying this now? It's a stigma for men, but yet men still don't talk. I know there's a lot of men out there talk, but I reckon for every man that does talk, I bet there's 10, 20 that don't talk. Sorry guys, I've got hay fever. It's just that time of year here, so I'm forever scratching my nose. Let's have a look at some more of these comments. The past has gone and the future is now. You're absolutely spot on, Viv, yeah. And make a different future, 100%. Hello, Hayley Comet, how you doing? We've just been chatting about you, Hayley. All good, by the way. We've got a lot of your community on here. So I'm just having one of them days. The black clouds come over me. My wife's in the UK. She's been through a tough time. I'm going through a tough time, and I wanted to just still come on here tonight because I always said I would be authentic. So whether I was up, down, left, right, in between, no matter what personality my BPD was throwing at me that day, I would still come on here. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being happy, 10 being going to jump in the middle of the road, I'm probably at about a 5 or 6 today. So it does get a lot worse. But yeah, it's great coming on here, being able to talk. And again, going back to what I was saying, not enough men. For every man out there who speaks, there's probably 10 or 20 that don't speak, and that's ridiculous. And the statistics, when anyone can go do this, go to Google and look at the statistics for men who want to live themselves. And all they had to do was say them 4 words: I need some help. I did it one day. I broke down in front of my wife. I just said, I need some help. I know I need some help. I'm not focusing. I'm not concentrating. I'm not coping. Life's too hard, and I didn't want to be alive anymore. And I got the help, and I eventually got a diagnosis, and it explained a hell of a lot to me. like I say, it does change your life. It does change your life in the sense that at least you know what's going on up here. You know, it's like when your car's banging and cranking, and for weeks on end you think, oh, you know, it'll be all right, and then eventually you take it to a garage and the guy goes, oh, one of your pistons is no good. If you keep going like that, it's going to break down. There you go. It's pretty much, that's the best way I can explain it. If you keep going and this is not functioning properly, eventually it's going to break down, and sometimes it breaks down to the point where people make that ultimate sacrifice, and then it's too late. So men need to talk. Need all you people on here who know men who are struggling, whether it be your husbands, your sons, your fathers, cousins, nephews, just a friend, the man next door, somebody you work with. We all know somebody who's struggling. Tell them to come on my TikTok. Just tell them to come, and if they can see me, 6'5" guy, you know, 17 stone, masculine guy, covered in tattoos, you know, if they can see a guy like me sitting here and been open and honest and authentic with people, then I'm sure we can. Even if one person thinks, you know what, I want to speak as well, then, you know, we're making a difference. If we can do one, then we can make another one, and then another one, and hopefully we can help people. But that is a massive problem. It is a stigma for men. I don't know if it's like you say, it's like a masculine thing. You know, you have to be a man. You can't be showing your emotions. But we all show our emotions to our partners and our children and things like that. So what's wrong with showing your emotions when you're struggling? That's the time when you really need to show your emotions. It's okay not to be okay. Annie, you're absolutely spot on. You've got this. I have got this. But I'm driving back from work, so I might drop. Thank you for sharing. You're a brave man, Christina. Thank you. I'm not brave. I'm really not. Haley, comment. It's okay. I try and help Andy's man club in his memory. Yeah. I don't think of myself as being brave. I just think of myself now as being honest, and I used to be in denial, and I think that's a lot with a lot of men as well. I think a lot of men do know they've got an issue, but I think a lot of them are in denial. I think they sort of think, I can cope with this, I'm okay, and they get through a day, they'll get through another day, then they get through a week, then they get through a month, and then another year goes by. But I think if they were to genuinely look back on that year or months or weeks or days and just think about all the times where they weren't okay and some of the feelings they were feeling, I think you'll probably find a lot of guys are in denial. You know, you've got to admit it to yourself first, and that was the grateful thing I did. I knew one day I sat down and I just broke down. I sat on my landing floor, and carpet. Obviously, we're in Spain. We've got tiles. We're back in the UK. Carpet landing, and I just beat my fists on the floor and I broke down. My wife said the noise that come from me. She said it was just unbelievable. She said I just knew it was like I was like a man helpless. I was begging for help. Just please help me, and that made a change. So. Yeah. Let's have a look at some more of these. Haley comment. Evening, Haley. Yeah. Jay, we need to have a talk. BPD is up and down. They now want to change my meds again. You've got to tell them how you're feeling though, Viv. I mean, sometimes I find they just throw tablets at people, and if you go in and say, well, I'm still feeling, they just change your tablets. Well, there's no balance in that. I mean, as you know, any mental health tablets take about 14 to 28 days to get into your system. I've been there, I've been hooked on them. Citalopram and what was the other stuff I was on? They were all powerful tablets, and they made me worse. And what I did after I'd been on them for a couple of years, I slowly weaned myself off. So I'd take, half of one for a week, and then I'd sort of just take one every 2 days, and then it was one every 3 days, and I eventually weaned myself off them. And it was murder to get off them. But I'm much better off them trying to understand my mental illness than I was on them. So I think you need to be honest with them and tell them how you feel. Don't let them tell you how you feel. You know how you feel. You're the one in your head. But yeah, we do need to talk, Viv. We do need to. And do you know what, Viv? It'd be nice. I think I said this last week. Somebody like yourself suffering the same illness I'm suffering. Let's get you on here one night and let's listen to your story. Shelley Belly. Any comment? Go through your doctors and they can refer to mental health. Let's have a look. My ex, unfortunately, is one of those statistics. Oh, Laura, that's horrendous. Oh, Laura. God. I'm so sorry to hear that. And if only he just said he needed some help. Did he ever let you know that he needed help? I mean, obviously, you probably being his partner knew something was wrong, and you maybe asked him at times. And what did he say? Did he just say he's okay again, in denial, or what was he seeking help? That's so tragic. That is awful. How did you get diagnosis? How did I get diagnosed? Like I say, I knew something wasn't right. I knew throughout my life I thought I was this evil person, losing friendships, losing relationships, jobs, everything. It was everyone's fault. And I could literally have a friend, my best friend, sitting in a pub having a pint with him, and I could go home and I'd say to my wife, I don't like him, he's an arsehole, and just not ring him no more. Because my personality flipped. And I'd feel that way for a few weeks, but by then it was too late. I didn't have the balls to then go to him and say, look, the reason why I've not been in touch is because I was in denial. I didn't know I had a serious issue. And then when I eventually broke down, beating the carpet on the landing, breaking down, I let out just a squeal. My wife said it was just like a child sobbing, and I sobbed for ages, and I knew something was wrong. And she got me to my local GP, and we got some counselling. Usually I think it's 6 to 8 sessions of counselling on the NHS back then. And she applied for an extra 8 sessions, and then she referred me to a mental health, a proper mental health, psychologist. And I was only with the psychologist about 15-20 minutes, and she said, I've worked you out pretty much straight away. I went to a few sessions with them, and I was diagnosed with BPD. It was basically the story I was telling them, friendships falling down, falling apart, relationships, jobs, and explaining how I was from day to day, up and down and in and out, and flip-flopping from personality to personality, and that's basically how it happened. And it was, I won't say relatively quick, it was over the course of about a year, because I'd have a counselling session, I'd have to go every week, but then I'd find an excuse to go for a couple of weeks. I'd tell them, I wasn't well because that personality that day didn't want to leave the house. So I eventually got through my sessions and then got referred, and then I was given a diagnosis, and it just explained everything. And once I got this diagnosis, I went online and read up on it, and it was basically, like I say, caused from childhood trauma, and that was me. So yeah, I've got someone else to thank for this. You're sticking to your word and helping everyone in this room without realising it. Thank you, Holly. I'm just going to go through some of these comments now, guys. Yeah, Viv, we do need to talk though, darling. We do have to talk. Be Well is a great organisation that can help for mental health for both men and women. Most the psychiatrists have never suffered mental health. They only know what they've studied. I agree with that, yeah. I agree with that. Most psychiatrists have never suffered mental health, yeah. Sounds same as me. I thought it was depression and ADHD, but they think it's... What is RIPS? Can someone tell me what RIPS is? What is RIPS? I'm not being thick here. I've probably heard it in a different form. I know that feeling. Don't answer your phone. Don't talk to people. Yep, you do. You do. I mean, like I say, a couple of weeks ago, I just basically fucked the whole football team off. I went to football one day, had a crossword with one of the guys. It was a nothing really. And I left football. Within half an hour, I sent a WhatsApp, I'm leaving. And I just left the group. And then someone messaged me, and I just said, I'm sick of this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whoa. And then I realised, I thought, I can't do this again. I can't just walk away from a good group of people I like and respect. And I'd done one of my videos, and I put it on YouTube, and I sent it to the group, and it explained a lot. And again, I've gone back tonight, a couple of weeks down the line, just to watch the lads play. And the love I got from the guys was unbelievable. Now they all understand me, Well, I'm not saying they understand me, but they understand me a hell of a lot more than they did a couple of weeks ago, when they just saw this angry guy just for one second lose it and then tell everyone to F off, So it explained a lot to them, and now they're all completely different, And I've said to them, I don't want to ever want any different treatment. Most of the time, I'm okay. You can manage your moods and manage your depressions to a degree. But I've explained to the guys, sometimes, we may have something, a function on a football or a game or something. At least now I can be honest. I can just message and say, listen, guys, I don't mean to let you down, but because of the way I'm feeling, I'm just going to stay at home tomorrow. And you know what? As disappointed as they might be, because obviously they want me to be there, they're now going to understand a hell of a lot more. And if I am ever at football and I just act a little bit aggressive towards someone, or a bit, I don't know, quiet towards someone, or ignorant or whatever, they understand that this isn't me. They know the real me. They've seen, inside me is a really nice guy who I want everyone to see, but that isn't always the guy that comes out. So that's borderline personality. The guy you see on the outside is not always the guy that's on the inside, and vice versa. Let's have a look. Some more. Some days I ignore calls from my friends and family because I just don't want to talk. I feel so bad. Yeah, but you don't have to be bad. But have you ever explained that to your family? Have you ever said that to your family? You know, have you ever been honest with them and told them that? It's awesome you feel safe to do that without judgment. Well, do you know what? I'm going to tell you something, Laura. I played for a different team not too long, about a year or so ago, and I knew I was acting a bit erratically around them, and I knew I see the looks, people like looking like he's some kind of a weirdo. And I put a post on the WhatsApp group, and it had the complete different effect. They literally froze me out. And I didn't hear from them for a while. My son died in June, and during that time, I hadn't left the team. I was still part of the team, and not one of them people sent me a message of condolences or anything when my son was killed. And I was like, this is only 3 weeks after I'd been honest with them on the group and told them about my borderline personality and how it affects my day-to-day life, and you know that I enjoy being part of the group. But listen, guys, if I'm ever a little bit off with you, just, you know. And basically, I just got the cold shoulder. And like I say, my son died a few weeks later, was tragically killed, and not one of them was there for me, and they froze me out. So me being honest with them about my mental health had a complete different effect. This bunch of guys that I met, I got back to football back in sort of September time. It was against a team I'd played with my old team, and I'd scored a couple of goals. We'd won the game 2-0. And I just remember the manager of the team being a really nice guy, and he said to me that day, he said, if you're ever free, I want you on my team. And that stuck with me, and I just thought, he's a nice guy. So I contacted them and I joined them. And here we were again. I was acting a bit different. So this time I've put a video out there, and you've actually seen me, the real Jay, on a video explaining it, and it's gone down completely different. The guys totally understand. And they're there for me, which is a completely different turnaround from the last group of people. So you've got to find your group, haven't you? You've got to find the people who, you know, so in a way, it's worked out better for me. But isn't it horrible, a group of guys who you're with? I mean, you're talking 17, 18 guys, not one single person sent me a message when they heard about my son. I think that's quite despicable. So yeah, but again, it says more about them than it does me. But the group of guys I'm with now, absolutely brilliant guys, they are. And you can't shake that feeling of wanting to be alone. That's sad, they froze you out. I had this when my nephew killed himself. Yeah, I sometimes liken it, Viv, right, to people don't know what to say. So rather than have it, because they don't want to know what to say or they don't know how to be around you, they sort of distance themselves. That's fine. But when you've got a group of 18 people, surely amongst that group, there's going to be one or two people who are like, wow, I feel for this guy, whatever. But no, not one single person. And it's only a few weeks later when one guy actually messaged me and asked me if I was coming back to football. And I went, no, I don't know if you'd heard about my son. And he went, oh, yeah, I'm really sorry about that. And I just thought, fuck you. No, mate, it happened 3 weeks ago. The least you could have at least done is just sent me a message, and he didn't. So, yeah, that group of people have gone, but he's the nice little touch on it. I played in my first tournament against that team, and we beat them 1-0. Well, I didn't score the goal. I'd actually took a great shot from the corner of the box, and it hit the post, and I thought it was going in. But one of our defenders stepped forward and smashed one in right from the edge of the box, and we beat them 1-0. And you should have seen the celebration of me. You'd think I'd scored the goal, and it was the World Cup final. Honestly, the celebrate, and it meant so much to me. And as we went off that pitch, I should have really had a bit more class about me, but I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't help myself but just stare at the manager as if to say, yeah, up yours, pal. Up yours. It is, and you can't shake that feeling of wanting to be alone. Yes, you're right. That's some kind of karma right there. Laura, it was brilliant. I just wish it had been me that scored the goal. But I tell you what, I'd have come off that pitch and I probably wouldn't have played again. I'd still be celebrating in my garden. I'd be running around the garden still celebrating. You would be a great mentor, Jay. Declan, I would like to do something like that because, like somebody said earlier on about psychologists and stuff, a lot of them don't suffer mental health. They go to school and they learn about other people's mental health, but a lot of them don't suffer mental health, and I just find that I think you need somebody who suffers to be able to relate to people who are suffering with mental health, if you know what I mean. I would love to be a mentor to people. I would love to be able to help people. I am a bit of an advocate for mental health, and I always mention it to people. I say to people, you do need life experiences to work in mental health, definitely. Got a phone call. Much love to you all. Moonlight, thanks for checking in tonight. Anyway, you definitely need to have life experiences. Definitely, yeah. I mean, is one thing, they've been to university and studied psychology and things like that, but you've certainly got to have some life experiences. Definitely. I don't think anyone totally understands mental health unless you've been through it yourself. Yeah, and I get that, Mel, and that's either going through it directly, as in the person who suffers, or going through it indirectly, like my wife, because, I know a lot of you got to meet my wife on Saturday when we did a live from the beach, and that was lovely. The love people showed her was amazing, and I was so glad that she did it, because I wanted to come on here one night, and I said to her in the near future, I'm going to do a live and I'll start off and I'll have a chat, and then what she's going to do, she's going to come and take the seat. I'm going to leave the room, I'm going to go sit in the conservatory, and I will watch definitely, because I want to hear about, but she's going to be open and honest, and she's going to tell people exactly what it's like to live with me from time to time, and that's probably going to be hard for me to hear, because but I think I need to hear it. I think I need to hear it. But I know what I put her through from time to time. I know that. I know it's very, very hard on her. So it's not just the person. We both suffer mental health. Me directly and her indirectly. And she has her own issues. She's grieving. We've lost a lot of people close to us in over the last 10, 11 years. I mean, she lost her cousin tragically at 16-year-old. Then his mum died, and then her granddad, who she's very close to, then her auntie, and then we've lost best friends and close friends and my son, and the list just goes on and on and on, and neither one of us really ever have time to grieve, so we're dealing with everything else in our lives and everything else. So I know my wife has her own issues, but she also has mine to deal with as well, so I think it's going to be interesting for you guys to hear what she's got to say, and for me as well. Because it is hard on the partners. It is just as hard on partners. It really, really is. But she is going to come on here, and everybody who showed her love on Saturday, thank you very much, because she came off there and she went, she really enjoyed that. She said, I really enjoyed that. She went, I could have stayed on a bit longer, but my battery was about to die. I was on about 4%. So you'd think having a mobile phone shop, I'd have some little bits of gadgets from like power packs and stuff, but no, the battery was on 90%. But as you all know, iPhone, you do a video on iPhone and you're streaming, and the battery just gobbles the battery up. So she is going to come on, and she is going to discuss what it's like being a partner with somebody who has severe mental health. So that is going to be an eye opener for me. And I think there's going to be a lot more people on here who are going to be able to relate to what she discusses. When I suffer with mental health, when I came out the other end, I was offered a job with the NHS. Declan, fantastic, and that's absolutely wonderful that you've actually been able to work. Invite Spink to join as a live guest. Do you want to join as a live guest, Kay? She's so lovely. I think together you would be an amazing advocate. She seems a very warm person. Oh, Sarah. Jesus, I know I say this all the time, and I know we all love our wives and husbands and whatnot, but this woman, there's no word out there for me to describe her, and I'm not just saying this because she's here. I've said it on here when she's not been on. This woman, seriously, she deals with all her own shit, all her own insecurities, and my wife, she told everyone at the weekend, she suffered some really, really bad abuse many, many years before I met her. She was with a partner. She was only young, and she was really, really, really badly abused, and I don't even know the ins and outs of that. But that's something my wife has to live with for the rest of her life, just that experience, the memories, the PTSD that comes from that, all the trauma she's suffered through grief, and then she has this big fella here to deal with. And you know what? She's just amazing. And I give her such a hard time sometimes, and I think sometimes when I get down and I get low and I get upset, I think a lot of that is like a guilt. It's like a guilt, and I beat myself up for it. I can feel myself going now, actually. So I'm just gonna take a breath a second. So I don't want it. A lot of it is guilt, guys, because I know she has her own problems to deal with, and she's always too busy dealing with mine, and I feel that's, I feel like what's the word? What's the word I'm trying to think of? It's like I'm stopping her from dealing with all her own emotions, because she's got this. Sometimes it's like having a big baby, someone who's just upset and crying and is so needy and puts on her so much. So it's almost like she never gets to deal with her own issues because she's too busy dealing with mine. And I just think one day, and whether she'll ever be ready for it, I don't know. She has said she would, but I'd love for her to come on and just discuss with you people what it's really, really like to live with somebody with borderline personality disorder. And another thing, Kay's auntie who passed away, her Auntie Kath, God rest her soul, she was a crazy soul as well. She was, but she had bipolar. Like, she was just a lovely woman, but she had bipolar, and she really, really struggled. So my wife dealt with that growing up as well. So maybe her dealing with that has stood her in good stead for dealing with me. Do you know what I'm saying? But all her life, my wife's dealt with so many tough things, and then she's got this big galoot here to deal with all the time, and she never really gets to deal with her own problems. So yeah, it's a lot of guilt. I feel a lot of guilt. I do. It does really, really bother me. And I think maybe this morning when she sort of left, and I sort of broke down, I knew how she's feeling, and I think for me it's like I couldn't be there. I can't always be there for her emotionally. And there's a few times she said to me, I'm struggling, I need some help, and I never know what to say. So if she is watching, she knows I love her, and I apologise for all the shit I put her through, because it is shit, guys. It is shit. And my wife does have her own issues as well, but she's an amazing person. There's no words to describe my missus. There's no word good enough to describe my missus. If someone can think of a word that's never been invented to describe her, then tell me what it is, because she is just one in a million. She's one in a million, and as many times she could have, and maybe should have, just packed her bag and just fucked off and left me and said, you know what, get on with it. But she never has. She is always there. No matter what I put her through, she is always there, guys. So, yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing. Bless her heart. Let me just see what the comments are of that. She's redirecting her efforts. Well, you're right, Fred. She was actually a nurse. She did some end of life stuff. She worked with the end of life people, and you know what? She was always getting into trouble. She was always getting told, don't get too close to the patients. And she used to come home and I used to say, what kind of shit is that? I mean, you're a nurse. How can somebody with a heart not go to work and see an old person? Sometimes she wouldn't carry out her duties properly because she's sitting in the bedroom holding somebody's hand. Some old person who was really struggling at the end of life, and she'd just sit with them. She would just sit with them, and what's going on here? She would literally just sit with them, and something's come on my screen. What is it? There we go. She'd just sit with them, hold their hand, and she'd come on, she said, I got a bit of a tell off the boss today. Why? Well, I was just sat with old Mary, she's only got a few days left, and I really connected with her, so I sat and held her hand, and I used to think, oh wow, well, don't take that bad, but she would never change. She'd still go to work the next day and get told off. You're supposed to be down there helping serve some tea or something, or helping serve somebody, but she would be too busy being the person that she is, an amazing person. And to be honest, she worked a few Christmases, and it was tough just watching her come home, bringing her work home with her. But that's Kay. It's like she's got everyone's world on top of her shoulders, and she just keeps plodding on. She is amazing. She is a strong empath, yeah. I've never told my husband about my abuse. He never asked because he knows I don't want to. Now, Viv, I know some ins and outs of my wife's, but I mean, she's told me. She told me last week when we discussed it, when we were talking about doing this, and she said to me, and she said on Saturday actually on the live, there's so much of it that I don't know, and so much of it that I think she does it to protect me. I think she does it to protect me because I think she knows with my mental health, I think if she told me the ins and outs of it, the true depths of it and what she went through as a young sort of 17, 18-year-old woman, it would really, really, really traumatise me. I mean, the person who did it to her is still in jail because he did it to other people as well. That's how bad it was. So, he's an absolute bastard. But she still lives in fear. I mean, we live in Spain now. And she's got me to protect her, and she knows we've got a 6'5" son. He's best part half an inch taller than me, and he's 17, 18 stone, big lump he is. And he would do anything to protect his mum, but she still lives in fear. She says things like, what if he ever gets out of jail? You know, what if he found where I was? What if he come to me and things like that? She said, because when he was in the court, one of the last things he said to her was, you know, I'll find you. And that lives with her. So yeah, so any of you women out there who have suffered like that, and I say to her, you don't have to worry, but that's just words. She does, and she still lives it, and she still lives that trauma, and she hasn't never told me everything. And to a degree, I'm glad. But I would like to know, but at the same time, and that's why she doesn't tell me, because I think she knows how it would affect me. And I think sometimes for her to say the words as well, it's a bit like mental health, isn't it? It's actually opening up and telling somebody. I mean, her mum doesn't even know everything, even though her mum was at the court. A couple of days when a lot of evidence came out, her mum wasn't there, so her mum doesn't know a lot of it. So my wife has just had to, for the last, well, she's 43 now, so the last 25 years, she's had to literally keep all this in and just live the nightmare, I suppose, in her dreams and in her everyday life. And then she's got me to deal with and all the trauma she's dealt with. So yeah, she's an amazing woman. She's so strong. She's so strong. She's just unbelievable. She's a very honest, gentle way with her. She has a very honest, gentle way. And anyone who meets, I said this, and people seen her on Saturday. She's just an amazing woman. She's just so likable. I am her person, yeah, and do you know what? There's not a lot of fellas out there, I'm going to be honest. She knows what she means to me, because I tell her all the time. I tell her she's beautiful, I tell her she's sexy, I tell her she's crazy. I tell her if she wakes up in the morning and her hair's sticking up and she looks like a bag of shit, because that's just the way we are. But she's the same with me, and I know exactly what I mean to her. And I've never been in a position in my life until I met this woman many years ago. I never ever felt that. And even for the first 10 years of being together, I didn't ever realise that. But it's only when I got my diagnosis for mental health and I started seeing what I was putting her through and understanding, and then the reality of what I meant to her came to me. And I know exactly what I mean to her, but she knows what she means to me. She loves you no matter what. She does, yeah, she does. My wife can read me better than anyone. Do you know what, Fred? Approve the comment, yeah. My missus, she will tell me straight if I'm out in a place. I mean, I was at a mum and stepdad's house a few years ago, and the neighbour was in, and I was in like a manic period, and all you could hear in the room was just me, blah, 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 and I never shut my fucking mouth up. I didn't, honestly. And when I got home, she was like, Jesus, people were like saying what, and I was like, I didn't mean it, you know, it's just the way I was. It's just, you know, sometimes when I'm around people I feel comfortable with, I get overexcited and that personality comes out where I'm almost manic. And I must have done people's heads in. I was just talking shit for about an hour and a half. But then it sort of reels you back a bit. So the next time you're with them people, you go the other way. Do you know what I mean? You sort of go the other way. But she will tell me, and she'll tell me in such a way where she won't make me feel bad. And that's the thing with borderline personality. We hate criticism. We can't handle criticism. So you've got to, if you're going to be critical, you've got to do it in the right way. Like if my wife just says to me, you're an arsehole, I will really take that badly. But she says, darling, you know when you did that thing the other day, you maybe should have not done it quite. And she has a way of saying it. She doesn't always get it bang on, you know, and sometimes she'll tell me things and I'll sort of react and I'll go quiet. But in my head, I know she's right. Maybe she doesn't want to relive it again by opening up. She will when she's ready. Yeah, Sarah, I totally get it. You know, for her to sit and talk about it as well, it means she's got to open up old wounds. I do get that. But she knows. And if she never ever tells me, that's okay. That's okay. That's her choice. My son is 6'9", about 25 stone, and very protective of me, even though I'm 6'5" and 20 stone. Yeah, Fred, when you get a little bit older, you can go at the pub and set your lip up knowing that you've got some hell of a backup behind you. That's a big lad, isn't it? 6'9", bloody hell. My mum knew, but it broke her. Yeah, and I think, sorry guys, this hay fever's killing me. I think my wife, I think if her mum knew all the ins and outs, I think it would. I mean, Kay's mum, obviously she's well into her 70s now, so yeah, that's not the sort of thing you want your mum to know. I think if her mum was ever going to know the full ins and outs, I think she should have told her like 20 years ago when she was a lot younger, in her 50s, to deal with it. But yeah, she's old now, and that's not something you want your mum to know. And I think even if her mum sat her down and said, look, before I shuffle off this mortal earth, I need to know the ins and outs of it, I don't think she would tell her everything anyway, because it would be too... I know parts of it. I know What happened, I just don't know the details. So, details are what hurt, aren't they? Someone can tell you that, they were beaten up or they were abused. And it's just a couple of words, beaten up and I was abused. But when people sit there and say, right, and this is how I was abused, and they describe it, then that is pretty graphic, and that can really, really resonate with people. He's a gentle giant. My son's a gentle giant, but I tell you what, anyone ever did anything to his mum or me, he'd be there. Have to go now, Jay, but keep doing what you're doing, talking about how you're feeling. Thank you very much, Mel. It's been a pleasure having you on. Yes, it's harder to deal with. Yeah, it is. It is hard to deal with. Came across you live, and I have BPD, Istanbul. It's a hard thing to live with. Mum of one. It is. Mum of one. If you don't mind me asking, I take it you're British, but you live in Turkey. Sorry. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you, and when were you diagnosed, and how did you get your diagnosis? How did you go about it? Exactly the same. Yeah, it's harder to deal with. Let's go back to some of these. My ex has borderline personality disorder, and there's only me who knows how to deal with him. And Jilly Lou, and you say ex, listen, tell me to keep my beat out if I'm asking too many nosy questions, but obviously he's your ex now. Was it the BPD that caused you to split up? If I meet someone new, I'm shy. I talk lots to hide it. Yeah, Fred, it's mad, isn't it? You meet someone and see, I'm too trusting. I can meet somebody and I automatically just think they're nice people. If they give me the time of day and then this manic comes out of me and I just blah, 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 and people must think, Jesus Christ, he doesn't shut the hell up. But then after a while of knowing these people, then I go into a bit of a dark spell, and then they see that side of me, and that's where the friendships have come, because I see them sort of looking at me a bit odd. But instead of me just thinking of it, well, I am a bit different today, maybe they're just trying to work out about me, I take it the wrong way. I just think, oh, they don't like me. So I pull away. That's what I do, I pull away. I tell my wife Sam, and she was abused by ex, and still makes a while for her to believe I mean it. Yeah. It's hard. It is really, really hard. My mum knew, but I broke her. Yeah. Let's see what else we got on it. He's like verbal diarrhea at times. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Do you know what? I seem to have perked up a little bit on here tonight. I'm thinking about tomorrow, and then I feel a bit dread because I don't know how I'm going to feel when I wake up in the morning, and just little things. Going to bed, sleeping on my own tonight, and not having Kay there. I'll have the puppy on the bed tonight. She'll hug me all night, although she snores like a bastard. We're amazing friends now, and yes, it was. Yeah, and I understand that, and like I say, if Kay had have ever walked away from me, it would have broken me, and I would be gutted, obviously, because I wouldn't have this amazing person as my wife. But I would have understood it, and I wouldn't. Initially, I would have thought every bad thing about her, but I would have understood it. And there's no shame on people for splitting up. Some people can handle it. Some people's BPD is worse than others. Some people, they're more on the dark side 70% of the time than the happy side. I'm just up and down and up and down, and I think if I was more depressed, you'd learn to live with the depression. If you were more happy, you'd learn to live with being a bit happy and be able to calm yourself down a bit. But when you're just up and down like I am, it's hard to gauge, it's hard to control, because sometimes a personality comes over you and you don't even realise you're in it until someone says, hey, shut your mouth, or what's the matter with you? You've suddenly gone in a bit of a mood. You don't even realise it's come over you. It is just such a difficult illness to deal with. Apparently it's one of the worst out there. I don't know. I mean, I suppose all mental illness is bad for the person suffering it, isn't it? If it's anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, as they call it, bipolar, whatever it may be, whoever that person's suffering, it's bad. But yeah. Let's see some of these. Cares in your heart. She's definitely in my heart. She's under my skin. If getting through the day feels too much, just concentrate on getting through each hour. I get that, Connie. Thank you. Connie, that's a wonderful name. I'm going to tell you why, because my grandma, God rest her soul, she was called Constance, and she got called Connie, and believe it or not, that's the only photograph I've got in my wallet. I don't have one of my wife, I don't have one of my kids or anything like that. The only photograph I've got in my wallet is Connie. She was the most amazing woman growing up. She was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, I was told that. I hope you realise how much you've helped people tonight, me included. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. I don't always take compliments too well, guys. I don't, especially coming on here, because I never ever knew how this was going to work out coming on here. I never knew how it was going to work out. It was something I was really putting myself out there by coming online and doing this. But when people pay me compliments sometimes, I mean, I've had people come in here and say, you know, you're this, you're that, and I'm like, whoa, wow, and I just think I'm just a guy, I'm just an average guy, just coming on here some nights just talking shit about how my day's gone or how I feel, and when someone says something like that, it means a lot. Thank you. He doesn't know for a day or two afterwards. You don't until someone tells you. You're named after one of your grandmas, so she was called Connie then. Constance, yeah? Wow, unbelievable. So great name. Great name. Me and my wife never had a daughter, but I can tell you now, and if she's still on here now, she'll say, yep, if we ever had a little girl, she was going to be called Connie. It was never going to be Constance, it was just going to be Connie. I can't get my head around the fact that someone hurt me so much when I was a kid that I have this now. Yeah, I know. If you don't mind me asking, Mum of One, was it a mum or a dad or a family member or something like that? Mine was my stepmom, but my father's to blame as well, because he stood by and let it happen. My real father. So yeah, scumbags, pair of them. Only photograph in your wallet is your mum. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Fred, I grew up without a mother. Stepmom who was very abusive, a father who didn't give two shits. I've not spoken to my real father now for the best part of 20 years, and I heard about a year or so ago, apparently he's got a place out here in Spain. He had a heart attack. Good, couldn't happen to a nicer bloke, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, people like that who can abuse children physically and emotionally and then cause this, you know. And when I found out when I got my diagnosis, I'll tell you this, guys, I got my diagnosis and it explained a lot, and I found out that it's caused by childhood trauma. I actually contacted the police for historical abuse, and you know what they told me? They said they went to the house, they spoke to them, so they know I've reported them, but because over 30 years had gone, the statute of limitations bollocks, there's nothing they could do, and it's basically my word against theirs. Yeah, fine, I get that, but that was it. Just, they knocked on their door. So yeah. So I never really grew up with a mum. And I do sometimes get, not jealous. Jealous is quite I think jealousy is a bad emotion. Envious is a nice emotion. I mean, my mate will get a new car and I can be envious. It's not a bad emotion. It's like, wow, that's a nice car and I'm proud for him. Please, but I can be quite envious. I'd like one myself. But jealousy is can be quite a bitter emotion, can't it? I used to be envious of people. You know, I'd go to my friend's house and sometimes say, I'm not coming out tonight, I'm staying in with my mum, and I used to think, what? I couldn't understand that, because obviously growing up without a mum. To be honest, I've got to where I am in life, struggled a lot until I met my wife, and then she was a massive change in my life. Once I found her, and she stuck around, she was the only person really in my life who ever stuck around through the thick and thin, through all of this. And then I got my diagnosis, and it was amazing. But up until that point, yeah, I never used to understand the family thing, you know. So, yeah. My daddy died in November. My son, I'm just really lost. Oh, that's horrific. Sorry, Mum of One. That is. You're ex-military, aren't you? Yes, I am, pal. I don't really talk about my military career on here because there's things I want to talk about and things I don't. But we can have a private message one day. No problem about that whatsoever. Can't get my head around the fact that someone hurt me so much when I was a kid that I have this now. I said, I've read that, yeah. You didn't. Did you answer me, Mum of One? Mine is just Connie as well, so it's not Constance. So Connie, fantastic. Like I say, my grandma was Constance. I didn't know that until many years later. But this is how good my father is. This is how good my real father was. My grandma, Connie, who was just, after my wife, she's the most amazing woman I've ever met in my life. She kicked a bed one night in the middle of the night and she cut a toe, like we've all kicked a bed. and it got infected, and over a period of a few years she had to have a toe off. She got gangrene, but they didn't catch it enough, so then they took part of her foot off, and because of her age this affected her heart and her arteries started closing down, and she died. I wasn't told she died. I was in a nightclub 5 weeks later on leave from the forces, and I bumped into a cousin who said to me, "Why weren't you at the funeral?" I was like, "What are you on about?" And she told me I found out in a nightclub that my grandma had died, and she'd been cremated, her ashes had been scattered, and my own father didn't even contact me in the forces to tell me so. You talk about scumbags, there's a scumbag for you there. He took that grief from me, and I've never had the chance to grieve for that woman. Well, that's a madness. It is, Mum of One, yeah, it is. It is. Scumbags. I'm saying scumbags cause all kinds of problems in people's lives. It was a family member on my mummy's side. Yeah. It usually is though, isn't it? So you're a baby killer. Who the hell's that? Ron O'Crooney, so you're a baby killer. What's he on about? Anyone know what this guy's on about? Anyway. It was a family member on my mum's side. If you don't mind me asking, Mum of One, I think I asked you this earlier, how old are you? And you are British, I take it, living in Istanbul. Ron O'Crooney. Can you tell us what you're on about there, Ron O'Crooney? I'd be interested to know what you're talking about, to be honest. RM, nice to meet you. Yeah, we've still got a good crowd in tonight, 52 people. Guys, I am sorry if my mood tonight is a bit shit, but like I said, I did want to be authentic. I know I'm not smiling a lot. I don't have a lot to smile about today. That's just the way I'm feeling. So, you know, I'm sorry if I've come on here today, and I don't want, if anyone, and a lot of us on here are suffering as well, I don't want anyone on here to let my bad mood and my dark clouds today, you know, put you into it. And if they do, I apologise for that. You know, that isn't my intent, but I just wanted people to just see the real me when I'm down, when I'm hurting. Me and my sister searched for our dad. Our mum knew where he was and didn't tell us. He was dying and we didn't find him in time. Oh, Connie, that's horrendous. That's horrendous. Yeah, and you know what as well, when that happened with my gran, I eventually found out, obviously she'd been cremated. I went to the crematorium. There wasn't even an entry in the book for her. There wasn't even an entry on the digital, like, computerised system. She didn't even have a plaque anywhere, and if she did, I've never been told about it. We were just told she was scattered in a particular area. So I went there, and it was just surreal, wasn't it? It's just surreal, you know, losing somebody that you didn't get a chance to either say goodbye to or whatever. But what kind of a parent doesn't tell their son whether you're speaking to them or not? I answered. Thank you for sharing your feelings. No problem, Nikki. I always said I was going to do that, though. I always said, no matter how I'm feeling, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to be completely honest. And that's the way I'll always be. She said she never told us because it didn't come up in conversation. I mean, what the hell is that? That's bullshit, that, isn't it, Connie? I mean, he was your father. He's your father. Well, I mean, it's just... I mean, I got told off my real dad that he never told me of my grandma's death because me and him weren't talking. You know, me and him weren't talking because of the abuse that I suffered at the hands of him and my stepmom, but me and him weren't talking, so he decided not to tell me that. The one woman who, throughout my childhood, the only happy memories I've got as a child is when I was with my grandma. And even at the age of 40, in fact, even at the age of 16 when I was in the forces, I used to come on leave and still go and spend a night at my grandma's house, just to do the old things, sitting on the sofa on a Saturday night watching trash TV, you know, Generation Game, Blankety Blank, the old shit. You remember all the stuff that we used to watch years ago? That was my Saturday night with my grandma, you know, so I used to still do that, and this guy didn't tell me, but that was because we weren't talking. So Connie, she knew he was dying. I mean, that's despicable. I don't know your mum, Connie. I'm not going to call her anything bad, but that what she did is horrendous. Big Fred, some days I wake up hyperactive, then an hour later you're really quiet. Fred, that is me to a T. That is me to a T. And it's finding that balance, isn't it? I mean, I'd love to just sit somewhere in the middle, even if it's not quite on the line, but even if it's just a slightly miscued line, At least it'd be nice to be able to find some balance, but I'm either there, you know, rabbiting and gibbering away, or I'm down there and I really, really just want to end it, you know. And you do get in between sometimes, and it's nice, and you make the most of it. But sometimes you feel yourself, you think you're in a good place and life's good, and you can't help it. You go, yeah, how long is this going to last? And you can actually talk yourself out of a good place sometimes. You can actually think about it and bring yourself out of that good place and put yourself into a depression, and that's shit as well, isn't it? We didn't find out until this year. He died 10 years ago. Oh, Connie, that's so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Used to go to grandma's on leave after Fred. Classmate. Honestly, my grandma she was mint. And tell you what, I always tell people this story. As a kid, I was a little shit. I was about 4-year-old. You know, back in the day when you got a slap on your leg. We used to go to this shop in Stockton-on-Tees called Leslie Brown's, and it was a toy shop. And it was like the toy shop you see on a movie. It had everything. And I loved Action Men. And my grandma used to buy me Action Men clothes every weekend. I had a space suit for my Action Men. You know, the one with the eagle eyes where you pulled the thing on the back of his head and his eyes went side to side. All that kind of shit. And it's one day we went in there. It was Saturday. We'd always go into Stockton. She'd do a shopping in Marks and Spencer's. We'd go into Littlewoods in the cafe. I'd always get a plate of chips with gravy. I'd get a milkshake or a fizzy drink, you know, the grandma and grandson things. It's one day we went into Leslie Brown's and I said I want this Tonka toy. Now I'm going back to about 1975. I was 4-year-old. 1975, you know, a Tonka toy was about 11 quid. That was a lot of money back then. And I'd stamped my feet, I want this Tonka toy. So what she did was she went, right, you're not getting anything, drag me out of this shop. And we stood at the bus stop and I stamped my feet at this bus stop. And it got to the point where I was making such a scene, she slapped my bare leg right in front of everyone. And I remember this woman leaning over and went, God, you've got more strength than me, love. I'd have done that 15 minutes ago. And you know what? I respect her for that. I respect her for that because that was warranted. I was a little shit. And that's a story I tell people. And that was my grandma. And you know what? We went home that day and I didn't get my toy and I accepted I'd been a little knobhead. And we went home, we had me dinner, sandwich, I'd play in the park, and then we'd sit and watch the TV on a night, a 4 or 5-year-old, and back then it was like Larry Grayson won it, Generation Game back then, and it was, I mean, going back in the day, some of the shows we watched on a Saturday night, I mean, it was unbelievable. And then, there you go, sort of 12 years later, I'm 16-year-old, I'm on leave from the army, and I go back and we'd still do the same things. And she was an amazing woman, and I just loved being around her. Loved doing that at my daddy and my granny's house. Yeah. Memories are amazing though, aren't they, like when you're young, especially grandmas. I mean, my wife often talks about her grandma and granddad, and I think I wish I'd met them. You know, grandmas are class, old school grandmas. You know, old school grandmas. I mean, bloody hell, grandmas back then were old, weren't they? Had a pinny on. They were all quite. A lot of them were quite biggish women, you know, because they're always in the kitchen cooking and they were always slaving away and they're always putting coal on the fire and, you know, things like that. Just mad things, you know. They'd go to the supermarket and they'd carry 4 bags home, you know. They were the strongest people you knew. And, you know, that was just your grandmas, like old school grandmas, and they were all old. Now you've got like grandmas who were 38 and 39. They're not grandmas. That's not a grandma in the sense of the word that I know, and a lot of people on here are sort of describing. I'm the same. Hey Marissa, how are you doing? We can dream, mate. I'm either hyperactive or quiet, no middle for long. Yeah, Fred, and that's the sad thing, isn't it? That is, it's shit. Borderline personality is absolutely just, it's arse, isn't it? It's shit. But it's something that, I mean, you obviously, you know, there's no cure for it. You know, I've been told to like go to like groups and talk and things. Well, unfortunately, there's nothing like that in Spain. And I have tried to set up something. I started with a Facebook group for men, and because I have a lot of men come to my shop and the wives tell me that the husbands struggle and blah, 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 blah. We'd like a group and all that. So I tried to set up a group on Facebook. After about 3 months, I just shut it down. I had one person join. I messaged him and he just gave me a thumbs up. I was like, how are you doing, mate? I take it you've joined the group. You know, I'm here if you need any help. Thumbs up. I messaged him back 3 or 4 times. He opened the message, left it, and I thought, okay. But then after a few months, nobody joined, nobody. But then I hear all the time out here, wives and fellas complain there's nowhere to go, nowhere to talk. And I think I literally set up a Facebook page. And from that Facebook page, I know enough people here. You know, we there's plenty of places you can rent a room where fellas can just get together and have a chat, or even just fellas get together in a bar, you know, and just have a game of pool and sit outside and have a drink, or anything. Fellas can meet up on a beach and just sit around in a circle. If someone's got a guitar and someone wants to bring a bottle of beer and someone wants to, bring a saxophone, or just sit on it, just anything. Bunch of fellas hanging out, and then eventually, as you get to know each other, then fellas will open up. Didn't even get to that stage. There was just nothing. So getting guys to open up is so hard. You prefer it when you're manic. I get that, because when you're manic, people are around you. Let me just go back to that. How are you feeling tonight? Yeah, I've been there. Where are we? On your meds for your BPG? No, I don't. I stopped them myself because it made me worse. It absolutely messed me up. I weaned myself off them after a couple of years. They were just... I was like a zombie. I was like a zombie. And at one point, they made me so depressed. I spent best part of 12 weeks in my bedroom. Didn't go to work. I was showering once every couple of weeks. Literally getting up at 1 hour and a wash, brush my teeth, sitting in bed. I was just miserable. And I slowly... Something happened one day and I got out and... But they just messed me up, and I weaned myself off them, sort of one every 2 days and one every 3 days over a period of time, and I come off them. And the best thing I did, my happiest memory with Grandma, Mum and Dad told me it's bedtime, so sulking I went to bed. Yeah, my grandma used to let me stay up late. Most times she'd wake me up at about 11 o'clock. Usually when my granddad would come in from the pub, he'd come. He used to go to a pub called Smoky Joe's. It was a proper men's club, back in the day, where he'd sit and smoke his pipe and men would have it. And he used to come in on a Saturday night, and he was a miserable old git, he was. But whenever he'd had a few beers, he'd come in on a Saturday night and he'd always empty his pockets out, and he'd probably give me, back then in the early mid-70s, probably 70 pence or something. But wow, it meant the world. And usually he'd come in as Match of the Day was coming on TV in the UK, wasn't it, about 11 o'clock. And that was my time for bed, and I'd go up to bed. Just memories of, Grandma and Grandad, unbelievable. 5 litres later, Grandma called me down to watch World Cup Final 78. My first World Cup, Fred, was 82. Although I've always been a mental Man United fan from the age of like 4 or 5. Went to my first game in 77. But I never really followed World Cup and international football. My first one was Espana 82. I remember Zico and the Brazilian team then was just fantastic, weren't they? Unbelievable. That was my first World Cup, 82. But that was the sort of thing grandmas did, didn't they? I mean, my stepmom was, like I say, she was a bitch, and sometimes I'd be at my grandma's, they'd drop me off, my grandma, and I'd want something, and my stepmom said, no, you're not having it. As soon as she went, my grandma'd go and get me it, But I was a little shit as well. I would like to open a cafe for mental health. Do you know what, Marissa? That's a great idea. That is a good idea, isn't it? It is a good idea. Just a cafe, not serving alcohol. I think where alcohol's involved, men, obviously it clouds your judgment. Mental health and alcoholism and addiction and things all go together. But I definitely think that a little cafe like that, just serving tea and coffee, cakes and sandwiches and stuff, great idea. Great idea. Hope you're okay, Jay. I'm struggling today, Shannon, to be honest. I am struggling today, but you're an amazing man. Came across you from John George Hayes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hi, Kat. How are you doing? Yeah, it was the same. Did you go live with Lisa? Can I catch up? If you go on to... I went live I think it was last Wednesday night, because I now went live myself on Thursday. It's on. If you go onto YouTube and type in The Observer, you'll see The Observer on here. She's put it on. She missed the first part, but Hayley Comet come and joined us, which was really good. She had some great insight into the case. So there's about an hour and 20 minutes or so of us on there. There's myself, Hayley and Lisa. But if you go on The Observer, it's on there. I was waiting for her to send it to me, but I think Lisa messaged me and said that she'd actually deleted out of her, to save storage on her phone. But you can catch it. If you go on The Observer, it's on there. It was last Wednesday night. It was really nice to chat to you. I followed you so you can send a message. Night, take care. Thank you very much, Mum of One, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for sharing your story as well, because we all think we all have stories to tell, and all our stories that are traumatic to us, But sometimes when you share them on here, we realise how traumatic they are for other people as well. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I'm going to say it's been a pleasure. You know what I mean by that. It's been a pleasure having you here. It's been a pleasure knowing that you come on here and trust us and you can open up. And that's what I want from this, for people to be able to come on here and open up. So yeah, we've had quite a lot of people watching this tonight as well. I love it when people just keep hitting that heart, just keep getting hearts up. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I know that it goes up, but whatever it means, it's just nice to see people liking what I'm doing. Let me go through some more of these messages. Great job you've done. Mum replied, if you were first, I would have only had one. Yeah, I get that. Not too bad, yeah, thanks. Hope you're feeling a little bit better. I've perked up a little bit on here because I'm on here and it's lovely seeing all you people and the love I get from you, which is amazing. But again, sometimes, Fred will probably relate to this, people who suffer from BPD, we find it hard to trust people's emotions. And when people praise you and stuff, Fred, sometimes you find it hard to take compliments. And I've got a lot of compliments in recent weeks since I started doing this, and I'm only now just starting to understand that they are genuine compliments and they do mean the world to me. But sometimes if someone pays a compliment, if I don't thank it, it's just because sometimes it's hard for people with BPD to accept compliments and accept praise, especially when you're feeling down as well. When you're manic, you think you're the best person in the world, you think you're wonderful, you're the best guy in the world, and someone pays you a compliment, you think, yeah, you should be giving me a compliment because I'm the man. That's how you feel. But when you're feeling down and depressed and someone pays you a compliment, it's hard to resonate in your brain. I think that's explained it, haven't I? Yeah, getting praise is difficult. I'm now believing them after 16 months. Yeah, it is hard, isn't it, Fred? You've been a big help on here tonight, mate, because a lot of what you've said, Katie, make me cringe, I don't believe it. Yeah, let me just accept your comments, Katie. Yeah, they do. Kirsty, I'm alright, Kirsty. Like I say, it's been a tough day. Dropped the wife off at her mum's this morning. She's over in the UK now. She's she'll be having an early night tonight, I'm sure. Although saying that, knowing her, she's probably going to sit up all night, and then tomorrow she'll be shattered, and she'll be phoning me saying I'm tired. And I'll say, why didn't you go to bed? And she'll say, because I wasn't tired. That's what she does. Why didn't you come to bed? Because I wasn't tired. Then she'll wake up at 7:30 in the morning and say she's tired. That's my missus. But I dropped her at her mum's and then drove around the corner literally and just parked up and just let it go. So yeah, it's been one of them days today. It's been nice coming on here, listening to people, but it's been a tough day. But yeah, getting praise is difficult, Fred. On the other side is when someone praises you, you think what you really mean, and it can be hard. Yeah, and sometimes, Fred, as well, it's criticism. Like someone can say something like, I don't know, you can buy a new pair of shoes, and you think you look the bollocks in them. And you say to someone, do you like my new shoes? And someone will go, oh, they're nice, yeah, they're not the sort of thing I'd wear, but yeah, they're nice. And you take that as they've said to you, the shit them, you look a state in them. That's how we take it, don't we? And it really, really bothers you. And it goes both ways. Someone can say the smallest thing and you take it as the deepest criticism. You actually do take that. But when someone pays you a compliment, you don't take it. BPD is so difficult at times. Or when someone is paying you a compliment, you just think they're being sarcastic or taking the piss. If I have to be up for something, I don't sleep because autistic brain keeps waking me up. And it eats inside for a while. It does, yeah. You explained BPD so well. Do I, Marissa? Do I? Well, that's good. Thank you for that. See, what I've done is when I've come on here, I've tried to explain what BPD is. It is a bit like bipolar, isn't it? Where bipolar, you're either up or you're down. There's no sort of in between. With BPD, you're here, then you're here, then here, then here. It's a scale. You go through multiple personalities, from euphoria and mania to deepest depression, anger, grief, guilt, all these different personalities over the course of a day, over the course of an hour sometimes. And that's all I've ever said. But then when we come on here and people will talk about a particular situation, then I'll relate to it. And then hopefully, like you're saying there, people are relating to what I'm saying. It's definitely like bipolar, yeah. They say bipolar, I think, is more dangerous I don't know the best way to say it is, because in bipolar you can be depressed for weeks and that depression can just stay there. And that's why a lot of people with bipolar really, really, really do make the ultimate sacrifice and end things. Usually with borderline personality, you tend to be in a depression for a short period of time and you come out of it usually before things get so bad, but then you'll go from depression to anger or to sadness and you'll be tearful for a few days. My anger, oh Jesus, Marissa, my anger scares me. I got up one morning about 18 months ago and we had a dog cage on the floor. We never really used a dog cage, it was just to help train the puppy sometimes. She's actually laid on the sofa now, she's not a puppy anymore, but I got up this one morning and something just tipped me off and I was in a great mood. Next thing, I'm kicking this dog cage down the hallway. Dog wasn't in it, by the way. And I kicked this cage, just volleyed it, and it hit the wall, took a big chunk of plaster out the wall. My wife was like, what the hell's going on? My son was there and they're shouting at me, what are you going on? And I'm shouting at them and and then I just sat down and then I just cried. I knew I was wrong, but when they tell you, what have you done that for? You're wrong. I'm not wrong. You can't tell me I'm wrong in that situation because it's just going to make me worse. But you've got to see it from their point of view. They can't just ignore you. They can't just let you do that. They've got to say something. But there's no right thing they can say and there's no wrong thing they can say. And if they don't say anything, then you feel like you're being ignored. It's mad. It's mad, and it's so hard for the person who is on the receiving end. But again, like I said, today, a dark day. I've got up this morning, look at the state of my tash, my beard. I've not trimmed, I've not done that, I've not shaved my head. I just cannot be arsed. I've just shot on an old t-shirt. I've gone to work. Days like that, I just cannot be arsed. But again, I said I was going to be as authentic and honest when I started this as I could ever be. And when I come on here, I wanted to come on here not just in the good times, in the dark times, in the angry times, in the sad times. You know, I've almost cried tonight talking about my wife and what she's gone through, and I had to stop myself. I'm not quite there yet. Maybe one day, guys, we might be on here, and who knows? Who knows? I might just let it go, and I don't know. It's hard for people with borderline personality to sometimes open up. You've got to just be in that right frame. You know, like I say, I could be on here one night, and while I'm on here, I go from being sad to being angry to being really, really sad, and then someone might put on here and it'll just set the tears off. But you never know when that emotion's going to be there, because they can be fleeting, they can be in for 5 minutes, you feel sad, boom, you're out of it again. I get really bad guilt after mine, Marissa. And I apologise to my wife and I hug her and I say I'm sorry, and she's like, it's okay. And I said, but it's not okay, I shouldn't do that and I shouldn't kick this. And I can thankfully say I've never, ever been physical with my wife or my son. I've never, ever done that. Yeah, I've shouted some vile things which I'm not proud of. And like I say, one day my wife's going to come on in, she's going to talk about it and she'll tell you. But I've thrown things, I've thrown remotes at walls, and just things in anger, and afterwards you feel so bad. You feel so bad. When I'm hyperactive in my own world, I don't feel pain. Many times cut myself a broken toe. Well, the day I kicked that dog cage, Fred, my toes were swollen for days. I didn't tell them. They say to them, by the way, I've, hurt my toes. No way am I telling them that, Survival. I get really bad guilt after that. Yeah, we just read that. You get bad guilt. You do, and it's... You just want everyone to tell you everything's all right, don't you? You want everyone to just sort of put an arm around you and say everything's all right. But and usually everything will be okay. But when you're in that episode, you don't see the other side of it. You're in it. You're there and you're in it. And it's horrific. It is horrific for the people who love you. For the people who love you, seeing you like that and seeing you in a dark hole and seeing you depressed and angry and sad, and they feel helpless. Like I've said this last couple of weeks, my wife's grieving, severely grieving. She's lost her dad, God love her. Lovely guy as well. I mean, really, really nice guy. I mean, I've told you all my story. My dad, waste of air, waste of space. If I was ever going to want a dad, somebody like Kay's dad was lovely. Such a well-respected man, such a good man. He did so much for his community, did so much for councils. He worked with the Labour Party in the UK. Very well-respected man. There's going to be a lot of people at his funeral. Lovely, lovely, lovely guy. And seeing her grieving these last couple of weeks, I felt helpless. You just feel helpless. And I can imagine when I'm in one of them episodes, my wife sometimes, probably does feel helpless. Do I pick on people's emotions too? Marissa, yes, I do. I do, yeah. And, usually my wife's, usually my son's. You know, if I'm feeling that way and there's a sort of a chink in her arm, or she's feeling a little bit low, it's not deliberate, but you see them and they're like an easy target, and you do, yeah, you're right, yeah, and it's not something I'm proud to say, but yeah, I do. Marissa, you say you make a lot of sense. You've been absolutely great on here tonight, because yeah, things that I haven't covered yet. Like I say, this is going to be over a long period of time, me on here. There's so much to talk about BPD. It's not something you could cover in even a couple of months, is it really? It isn't. I mean, there's so many different things with borderline personality, so many different emotions. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy at times, and sometimes I think to myself, you get them moments, don't you, Marissa? Can you relate to this, where you sit there and you when you're sad and you're like, why me? And you're like this, and you're like, why me? Why have I got this? Why me? Why me? You know, why can't some of the bad people on this earth have this? Why can't I just have a normal head that works? This functions pretty much the same most days of the week. One that doesn't say bad things to my wife. One that doesn't upset my wife and my son. Why can't I be a nicer person? Why can't I this? You know, you do, and I don't know if you could agree with that. Thanks, Kat. When I was younger, I would run 10 miles a day, sometimes with 70 pounds on my back. Well, I can relate to that, Fred. I can relate to that. I've had BPD since 2022, and I'm learning my thought process now. I'm feeling it's hard. It is, Melon, you're just at the beginning of that journey. I got my diagnosis back in, it's about 12 years now. And it is a shock. It is a shock. But can I just ask you, Mel, before you got your diagnosis, did you struggle with friendships, with relationships, you know, just in and out of relationships, in and out of friendships, in and out of jobs? And if you did, now you've got your diagnosis, does it make you realise, like, oh shit, now does it explain a lot for you? Because it did for me. Now, because of a drink driver, I use a wheelchair. Oh well, Fred, I remember you saying something the other week about that. And so a drink, wow, fucking hell, Fred, that's bad. Worst day ever, walking in hospital and able to feel your legs. Oh mate, I feel for you. I broke my back once in the forces, and I had a couple of operations, and I remember the second one, the doctor said there's a damn good chance. I mean, I was only in my 40s when I had my actual last operation, and I remember the doctor saying there's a good chance that you could come out of this completely 100% incontinent, and you might not even be able to use your legs. Thankfully, I came out of it. Not, you know, everything went well, but that fear. But you're actually living that, and mate, I'm so sorry for you. I know it's not sympathy I'm giving you, because you know where I'm coming from. We're ex-forces, mate. We say how it is, don't we? But you know what I mean. You know, I doff my cap to you, and you know, it's not sympathy I'm giving you, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, don't you, Fred? That's a genuine, like, pat on the back for you, mate. That's something you have to live with. It took me 5 years to get back to work, learning to walk again. DBT, not BP. DBT, isn't that? Yeah, someone was on about that. I was reading up on this. It's like a therapy, isn't it? It's a kind of therapy. Yeah, you understand, mate. I get you. I know you do, Fred. We only sort of connected the first time really last week, but I've watched your live. I've listened to you speak. Some of your artwork's great as well, mate. It is good, and I like that you found that you can do that. That helps your brain. We all need to find something, but being ex-forces, it's that thing, innit? Being ex-forces, I mean, we don't know each other, but we could meet each other, sit in a pub, and within 5 minutes we're calling each other dickhead, knobhead, arsehole. You know what I mean by that, don't you? It's a forces thing, you know. Thanks, mate. Painting again Thursday. Yeah, let me know when your live is, Fred. And I'll go live on a Thursday. Maybe I have to start changing this round, I think, and go live at a different time so I can see yours as well. Like I said before, you are my twin. Well, I always say, Fred, they broke the mould when they make me, so I've not, but I'll look into that. I've had that much to go on. Yeah. Join me on Thursday. What time are you on, Fred, Thursday? Because I'll be going live Thursday as well. Oh my God, Mel, me too. I think we go for those types of blokes, but it's upsetting you've been through. But I asked you there earlier, Mel, when in your early, I don't know how old you are, Mel, if you don't mind me asking. No, is that 90? So you're 1973. So you're what? You're 50, 51 the night, 52 coming up. I take it if that's your year. I'm 71. So can I just ask, when have you gone through relationships where you've got into a relationship and it's just broken down, and when you look back, it was because of you, because of your BPD, and same with jobs and same as friendships, where you've just literally walked away from them and just let them go, and then and throughout your life you couldn't understand why it was happening, and then when you got your diagnosis, it explains a lot with the borderline personality. Can I just ask that, because it did for me. It certainly did for me. Yeah, anyone on here, you need to go and watch Fred's lives. Fred, to help with his mental health, Fred does paintings and stuff. Just like mental health. Some of them are really catchy, actually. I seen them the other night. They're really good. There's one he did like a rainbow, and on one side it was like a colourful rainbow, and on the other side it was a black and grey rainbow. And you get where I mean with that, is like, it's the dark and the light of your mental health. And he had a little slogan at the top. Remember what it was, Fred? I did actually write it in my phone, which is here. I'm using it at the minute, so I can't get it out. But it was the little thing you put at the top about mental health was just really poignant. Same hairdresser, but I don't have a beard. I'm my own hairdresser. To be honest, Fred, I've actually got a full head of hair. This receding hairline this is my hairline. It's like a widow's peak. I've had it all my life. And I just decided, I actually go bald, but for a few days I've not bothered, and I couldn't be arsed this morning. An open box chair. What is explain what that is to me, Mel. I think you should do an open box chair. Tell me what that is. 8 o'clock UK time, it'll be 9 o'clock here. So if I get on earlier, I can catch the back end, most of that. I have no parents either. Me neither, Mel. I mean, I have, but when I was young, I was born, and my father and my real mother split up. My real mother didn't want me because she just didn't want me. And I went with my dad, and I was raised by my gran. My dad was living with my gran for a while. When I was sort of 5 or 6, he met this new woman, who then ended up being his wife within a short space of time, and I'll end up living with them, and till the age of about 14, 15, 16, till I joined the army. Didn't even want to join. I just joined the army to get away from home. I was physically abused by the stepmother and my father. So they're the ones who give me this. They're the culprits, and you know what? Bollocks to them. So I've really, really grown up really without a parent, a loving parent anyway. 48. Okay, Mel. Oh, you're only young. We're only young, aren't we, Mel? I'm 53. We're only young. You're as young as you feel. There's 10 years between me and my wife, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm 43. I know I can't exactly pull that off, but are you asking me or Mel? I'm asking both of you, to be honest, with your BPD. Did it explain a lot from your past, relationships and jobs and friendships and stuff? I thought Jay was getting us mixed up because of 1973 in my name. Oh, was Marissa? Yes, sorry, it was because it was right underneath. Right, yeah. So you're 1973. I take it you're 1973, Marissa. Trauma is a factor in BPD. Of course it is. Yeah. I mean, you won't have to Google it. Go on to many different sites, and the defining factor, the underlying factor with BPD, is childhood trauma, and usually. Different kinds of abuse, and like I say, my stepmom was very, very physical with her hands, and at one point, for some reason, I was put into hospital, and while I was in hospital, other kind of abuse happened to me, which also had a massive effect on my life as well, and I'm sure people can imagine what we're talking about. But yeah, it does. It's a massive makeup of borderline personality. How do you know if you have a personality disorder? This has opened my eyes so much tonight. The best thing to do is go and have some counselling. See these names. Man like Donna. So it's Donna. I take it's Donna. Yeah. If you think you have an issue, first, I would speak with your family. Just open up, speak with family. People speak with your trust, and ask them to say, do you think maybe I should go and have some counselling, and do you think I'm at times, and they'll tell you if there's times where they've thought you had an issue. Go see some counselling, go to book in with a psychologist. You don't have to pay for it. There's plenty of psychologists in the NHS, good ones. And if you don't find one you don't want to open up to, find another one. You'll always find one that you can relate to. I was fortunate. The first one I found, she was a woman, and we clicked pretty much straight away. And some of the things I told her, you know, from my childhood and things, I've never really gone into depth with my wife, but I used to cry often with her, break down and cry. And I was fortunate. I found a counsellor that got me straight away, and I felt comfortable with. That's not always the case for people, so you might have to try 1, 2, 3 different counsellors, and eventually if they think you've got some, they'll then refer you. But the only thing I will say, I'm saying Donna, I presume it's Donna because it says man like Donna. Tell me if it's Donna, please. Is it Donna? Yeah, it's Donna. Okay. Is to be completely honest. You can't go there and hold anything back. If they ask you a question, if they say something like to you, you know, do you get angry and do you get abusive? And you do, but you go, well, no, not really. Then you're not being honest. You've got to be 100% honest. You know, a bit like I am on here, really. But like I say, it is always easier to speak with strangers. It is definitely easier to speak with strangers. But that's the first step, you know. Speak with family, speak with friends. I mean, Donna, if you've got a friend that you really, I mean, a lot of women do. You all have your girlfriends, you know, you go for your glasses of wine and do. But I always say, if you're going to do that kind of thing, do it over a cup of tea. Do it when you're ready. You know, say to your friend, listen, one day I'm going to pop round, we're going to have a chat. I'm going to have a chat about me, and I need you to be there for me, and I want you to just listen. I don't want to have a bottle of wine. I don't want us to put music on. I don't want us to party. I want us to just sit down with a cup of tea and have a clear mind, and then speak. Listen to what they think. Tell them you're thinking about going for counselling. Maybe it might help if your friend is there to support you as well. At least somebody knows, because sometimes when you've got to go for counselling, it's nice if somebody can know you've been, and then when you've been, because when you come back from counselling, you are drained. I used to come back and I was drained. I used to just come back and sleep. It was tough, but you've got to be 100% honest. You have got to be 100% honest. Start my first counselling session on the 29th. Well done to you. Well done. I'm not in a position to pay for one, so I will try and look into it. It's not cheap, and you know what? I'm a firm believer of you go pay for shrinks and things like that. I just think they're there to take your money. I genuinely do. I think the NHS service, and we all know the state of it at the moment. We all know what it's like in the UK with the NHS, but you've just got to find the right counsellor. There's plenty out there. There's plenty of organisations as well, like walk-in centres, where you don't pay anything. You go in and, you know, you can go into a group thing and you don't have to speak. You can go and say, hello, my name is Donna. If you don't mind, I just want to sit and listen. And you can just sit in a group and listen, and people will be talking. You can sit and listen. You'll get a feel, and you'll feel if it's right for you. I can't do the group thing, really. Well, I suppose I am now, aren't I? I can't do the group thing, really, but other people can. There's many different ways you can approach it. Psychology was... Oh, I've lost that. Where's that gone? Psychology was brilliant for me. I had to wait 2 years, but it was the best help. It was for me as well, Marissa. Eventually, when I got that piece of paper, do you know what? I don't even know where it is. When I got that piece of paper, and it was Parkside. It's a place in the northeast where I went, and I met this psychiatrist. And when I got this piece of paper from her, and it was like it was a prescription as well, but it was also a description of what my illness was. Just seeing it written in black and white was like, it's almost like a new beginning. I mean, the illness doesn't go away, but the reality of that, finally someone's told me that I'm not a bad person, I've got an illness, it's scary. It's not a nice feeling. I can't explain that. It's just a feeling. It's just a reality of like, okay, so now there's a reason why I'm doing certain things and acting a certain way. It is, yeah. My hubby gave up as the council told him that he can't keep going over the same things. Well, that's not Nicola, you shouldn't give up. That's what I was saying there. Not some councillors are just not cut out for it. I think some of them just do it for a wage. I think it's just they need a job, they've got a mortgage to pay, and there's an opportunity to become a counsellor, so they become a counsellor. But you've got to have empathy to be a counsellor. I mean, I was lucky. Like I say, my counsellor, she's a very religious lady as well, actually, I learnt many years later. And actually, about 5 years ago out here in Spain, I found her on the internet and I sent her a message and we chatted on the phone. And I told her that I'm still with my wife and I got my diagnosis and she was like made up for me. I actually spoke to her, she was made up, but she's a very religious person, she's very empathetic, and she worked for me. But if that counsellor who said that to your husband, that's bang out of order. That now has made your husband think twice now about going for counselling, and that's wrong. He clearly needs counselling because he went. You should tell him to try it again. Tell him to come and speak to me on Ian Nicola if need be. After 2 weeks, she said, I've not filled it in, so I can't be asked to be let alone fill a form. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it, Fred? Sometimes they ask you to do things that you can't physically do. You can't physically do. I just think, again, there's a lot of bad counsellors out there, and I suppose I was just fortunate finding one who was very empathetic. I suppose I was fortunate in that sense, but I do say to anyone, you've got to keep trying. The mental health service in Scotland's a big letdown. I think it is a lot in the UK, but I also think it's very helpful. You've just got to find the right person. I got mine through my DV, which caused the breakdown. I had domestic violence. Yeah, okay, DV. Yeah, I got mine through my DV, which caused the breakdown. I've been lucky not to. WAI. I'm not used to some of these little anagrams and things. My wife said it's not worth me going, as I won't say anything. But you've got to, Fred. I'm telling you, mate. You've got to. You've got to. You know, you really have. You've got to. I'm not an advocate for medication. I'm really not. I just think they do a lot more harm than good. That's not me saying to people they don't work for other people. That's just for me. For me, they do a lot more harm than good. And I've heard a lot of other people on here saying tablets just didn't work for them. They zombied me out. I was just like a shell. I was just this man just moping around and dribbling and drooling away. It was awful. My wife said it's not worth. Yeah, you just said that. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to scroll through. I told my psychologist everything was good for me. Yeah, I must admit, Marissa, I was 100% open. At first, obviously you've got to build up to it, but when I first went out, I got a really good feeling with her. And over the weeks I opened up, and then I would break down often. I knew sometimes I put it off because I wasn't in the right frame of mind to go. Again, it's the borderline personality, and then other weeks I'd be in a perfect mood or personality, and I'd go there knowing I'm in the right frame of mind, so I'm going to be talking, and I would break down, I would cry. Sometimes I'd be there, it was an hour session, sometimes we'd run over an hour and 20 minutes and the next person would be late, and I'd come out of there and I'd come home and I'd just be drained, my eyes would be red, I'd been crying, and I was always completely honest. And you've got to tell them everything. If you want to help yourself, if you want a diagnosis, you want to find out what's wrong, you've got to be 100% totally honest with any kind of psychologist. The thing I find, your family will always say, no, don't be silly. So I think someone who don't, yeah, I get that. I always think it's best to talk to somebody who doesn't know you. I always say family and lifetime friends. I mean, new friends, you know, or whatever, but people you've known in your life for many, many years, and family, they know you. They know you too personally. And I always think, I said on here a couple of weeks ago, talking to a stranger is best. Like I say, I walked into my counsellor, never met her. She was called Vicky, lovely woman, and I walked in, and within 20 minutes of sitting there, she made me feel relaxed. She just sat and she went, just talk to me, and she just listened. She didn't interrupt. She didn't give opinions. She just said, I want to know about you, Jay, and one of my main worries was I thought I would lose my wife if I didn't sort myself out. I said, I've got this amazing woman in my life, and if I don't change the way I'm acting in my life, she's just going to be another one of them statistics, another relationship that will, fizzle out and die away. And thankfully, she was the right counsellor for me. And I owe her a lot because through her, I got my diagnosis, and I'm still with my amazing wife. And good luck, yeah. We've got to go, mate. It's medication time. Speak soon. Fred, cheers, mate. It's been a pleasure having you tonight. I'll be wrapping up soon, maybe 20 minutes or so, but yeah. Hopefully, mate, I'm in a little bit of a better mood next time. Really, let me just click on that, accept. Yeah, Marissa, do you know what? I envy people like you. I do. I'm not a religious. I know I wear a cross. My wife got me this for Christmas, and she got me it for my son. My wife's Catholic. I'm not, but I wear it because she got it for me. So I do wear it. I'm not a religious person. I wish I could be. I do often think to myself, I wish I could find God. I wish I could be one of them people, because sometimes you see people in church, or you see people who talk about God, and you see their eyes light up. It is nice to see, but I'm not that way inclined. But I do respect people's religions, some anyway. And if it brings comfort to somebody, then nobody should diss religion. We all know there's some religions in the world that are just crazy, but the Catholic religion, Christianity, anyone who goes to church and wants to pray to God and feel warmth in God and feel God's love and stuff, absolute hats off to you and total respect. Again, it doesn't work for me, but that's good that it works for you. So I'm not dissing that, by the way. Don't take that the wrong way. I totally respect everybody's beliefs. Oh, that's good to hear. He had 2 that said it. He won't go now. That's just... But maybe that's, Nicola, does he use TikTok? Or does he go on YouTube? Please tell me he uses one of them. And get him to come on here and watch one of my lives, even just sit with you. Or go on, YouTube's the best one. My YouTube channel's on my page. Say it's only a new channel. I've only uploaded a few videos. Not a lot of subscribers. Had a lot of comments, a lot of views on them. They are just, this what I'm putting on here now will go on there within the next day or so, or maybe tonight. And he can just go onto YouTube and he can just click on it and watch it and just listen to me interacting with people and being honest about my mental health. And if he ever wants to talk, I'm here to talk. Genuinely, I am here to talk. See you later, Fred. Much love, mate. It's been a pleasure. Wait. What we waiting for, Mel? Mel, thank you. Wait. I meant wait, yeah. Wait. Tell me again. Wait. What? Wait for what? Sorry, Mel. I was waffling there. Let's go back again. I've missed it. Meant wait, yeah. Okay. Can you recommend any sites or books for partners to read up on BPD, Nicola? Do you know what? Just go onto Google. Go onto Google and type in borderline personality disorder, and it will give it. Wikipedia's got a lot on there. I mean, there's plenty on there to read, and they're all pretty much the same. There is actually one on YouTube, and it was a doctor. She was an Indian. I think she was an Indian doctor, and she described the nine key factors to spot a BPD sufferer. And most borderline personality disorder people will have 6 or 7 of these. And I actually sat and looked at it, and I was like, wow, I've got them all. It's like struggling to maintain relationships, the fear of losing someone, being alone. Fear of being alone is a massive fear of borderline personality. There is if you go onto YouTube, there is quite a few on there. There's quite a lot on there, but go onto Google. There's lots on there that describes what the causes are and stuff. There's so much out there. I broke down so much in that office. I used to like doing homework. It was quite therapeutic. Yeah. Breaking down in public is something that I've started doing over the years, and I try to hold it in, but sometimes you just can't, can you? You can't. NH8 website, don't watch too many YouTube videos. I got obsessed. Yeah, there is too many. You can go through too many, but there's one. I can't remember it now. I think I've got it saved in my YouTube. If I can find it, I'll upload it to my videos and I'll put a link on here. But again, with BPD, I remember so much and I forget so much. Thank you. My partner's in the middle of being diagnosed. Do you have any idea yet, Nicola, what they think his diagnosis is? I'll chat soon, Jay. Thanks for listening, everyone. Mel, been an absolute pleasure. You know where we are. I'll be back on. Just keep an eye out on my TikTok. I'll always let you know when I'm going to go live. Like I say, Kay's back Thursday. I'm not sure what time she's back, but I probably will be going live Thursday. So, yeah, and just remember, one of these weeks, Kay is going to come on here. I think she said tonight on here she will do. Once she's got a bit more confident with the whole TikTok live video kind of thing, she will come on one night and she will probably explain a lot more what it's like for a partner. Some people take the pee out of me for my religion, but I get comfort. Yeah, well, do you know what, Marissa? that just says more about them than you. You know, I mean, if you take comfort in it, then that's great for you. And especially especially this day and age, there's so many things in the world that are bad, and so many things that can make you feel shit. So if your religion makes you feel good, then fair play to you. Don't let anyone. Well, you don't sound like the sort of person who's going to let anyone change your mind. Religion's religion. You know, it's like your favourite football team. I'm a Man United fan. We're probably one of the worst teams in the world to watch right now, but still love them. You'll never change my mind. I can sit in front of someone now and they'll tell me the shit, but I'm still going to support Man United. Same as you. Someone can laugh at your religion. You're still going to be religious. You're still going to believe in God, and you're still going to get comfort from it. He doesn't use YouTube possibly. He has had a lot of trauma. Okay, try and get him to go and watch my YouTube, Nicola. Thank you, Jay. Yes, I know the Indian lady on YouTube was good. Yeah. Let me just click on that. One of my videos on TikTok has famous people that suffer from BBT. Do I follow you, Marissa? Let me just have a look. Yeah, I am following you. I am following you, aren't I? Right, I'm gonna go through that. Just do me a favour, though, Marissa, because I'll forget again. Just send me an inbox message and just tell me to just click on your video, and I'll go through and I'll read it. The famous people. Yes, it's hard to see someone you love hurting themselves, but for them it's a release. Yeah, it is. But it's hard for the people who live with people suffering from mental health. But it's just as hard for the like I say, my wife. Some of the shit I put her through over the years. And for me, getting my counsellor, it was a fear. I thought I was going to lose her. I thought my mental health would just cause me to lose another friend or another partner or whatever. So, you know, there was many reasons why I did it, but the main one was to find out what the hell was wrong with me. But the second was to break that chain of just failing at everything in my life, you know, relationships, friendships, and all that kind of stuff. I will, thank you. Try and get him to watch my YouTube videos. Try and get this will be on there in the next day or two, Nicola. Just trying to get him to go. My link's on the top of my page. And you just click on it, it'll take you straight to my YouTube. There's only about 6 videos on there. Most of them are from the John George thing. And then there's a couple on there that I've done regarding the mental health. And you'll see the different sort of personalities that I'm on. You'll see the difference from today to the normal bubbly sort of Jay. But tonight's been really good for me. It has. I feel in a much more positive mood than I was. It's so scary, he doesn't do it in front of me. We'll go quiet, I know he's done it. Oh, Marissa, Nicola, I think it's harder for people that love us. Yeah, because I agree with that, Marissa, yeah, and especially if I know how much I mean to my wife, she knows how much I mean to her, she means to me. And I know it's hard for her to see me suffering. Like I say, she had an auntie for most of her life growing up. Her auntie suffered with bipolar really, really badly, and really caused a lot of problems for herself and the family, but just due to mental illness. And she grew up with that. So maybe as I sort of say, if she hadn't grown up with that, maybe she might have run a mile after a year or two with me, who knows. But yeah, it is tough for our loved ones. It's tough and it's awful when you see it. Maybe Nicola, I don't know if I'm helping people. All I want to do is get my story out there and hopefully help people. Yeah, so if you're saying I'm helping people, that's good. That's good. I do want to help people. I want to help as many people as possible. I really do want to help people with mental health, because I don't want people to go through their lives. And even if someone hasn't got the balls or the bravery or whatever you want to call it to go and seek professional help, at least if someone can come on here and just listen to this idiot just waffling away about his issues, and if that brings some comfort to somebody, then great, you know, great. I mean, there was a young girl on here earlier, Amy, last week. She was in a really bad place, and I spent 4 hours just messaging through TikTok. Next day, I messaged her first thing, how are you doing? And she was in a much better place, and I'd helped talk her down from that ledge, basically. So I felt, but I must admit, again, I was exhausted that night. I went to bed, and I've told Amy this, I was absolutely exhausted, because again, your own mental health, you remember in times when you've been in that place. But I would do it again, and she's in a much better place. She is in a much better place now, and that's great. So yeah, I've helped somebody. Unfortunately, our brains a little different, so it's hard to understand. It is, yeah, and we have that trait in us, don't we? That borderline, that selfish trait. That's one thing I hate. I hate it when I'm selfish, and I'm selfish a lot, and it's not me. You know, inside me, there's this nice guy, this loving guy, this friendly guy who just wants to like people and be sympathetic to people and for people to like me. But that person isn't always around. Sometimes you get this spiteful, kind of selfish kind of person. So if someone around you's suffering because of your behaviour, then you don't care. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. You have that sort of attitude, and that's not right. But that's a mental illness. Oh, well, respect it. You sound like you really respect your wife so much. Marissa, I absolutely adore her. And I know you don't hear a lot of fellas talk about the wives. It's that butch thing, innit? Like, we go to the pub and we us fellas have a laugh. I told her indoors, I'm the boss now, I wear the trousers. We all have them daft conversations, but my missus is just amazing. She is frigging amazing. What she puts up with me, what she's put up with through her life, the fact that she goes on, she's... the way she is in business, the way she is with customers, the empathy she has for people. People just love her. People just absolutely adore her when they meet her. She's amazing. She is. And you know what? So many people shit on her. They take her kindness for weakness. Only recently she's been shit on in business by somebody who was supposed to be a friend, someone she'd known for 6 years. And that person just promised the world and then just pulls the rug from underneath, and that really affected my wife. She was really, really struggling with that, almost grieving because she'd lost a friend. And then 3 days into that, she found out that her dad had died. So yeah, all that in the last few weeks. And like I say, it's somebody that you love suffering. When all they do is she just oozes love and kindness. She's one amazing person. I always say this. I feel blessed and lucky to have met her. I really, really, really do feel blessed and lucky to have met her. I'm proud when we go out. I love to go places. I love to meet, like my friends at football. When I joined this team a few months back, the first time I took my wife, I couldn't wait to take my wife and have my wife on my arm, and this is my missus, and be so proud of it. So yeah, I do 100% respect her. I know I don't always show it with my mental health, but she knows deep down inside what she means to me. But I also truly now know what I mean to her, although again I don't always show it. Jay, it's definitely helping. Let me just go back. Jay, it's definitely helped me understand him and understand how his brain is. What you mean? What I'm saying, Nick? Do you mean by what I'm saying? It's helping you understand your husband. I think that's what you mean, isn't it? Well, that's good. But again, he needs to watch some of my videos. Like I say, for anyone who's not interested in my video, they'll watch it 2 minutes ago, that's shit, and just turn off. But if you've genuinely got a partner on there, and they can just sit and watch one of my YouTube videos just talking about mental health, it might seem like I'm just going on a lot, but I answer a lot of questions on here. We do interact. I think if somebody was to... I've actually watched a couple of mine back, and there's one of them I watched to my wife, and I said, you know what? That little thing I said there, that's going to really help someone. She went, it will, yeah. And I was quite proud of how I'd answered this question honestly and openly. And I think anybody watching them who is wanting to open up and ask and say them 4 words, I need some help, I do think they will be helpful to people. Although, again, if you're just a random person flicking through YouTube and you come across one of my videos, you say, who's this idiot just waffling on about nothing that doesn't interest you? But if you're genuinely somebody who's either suffering directly or you're suffering because your partner's suffering, then I do think that a lot of what we all speak about and the questions that you ask and the answers we give and things, I think they could be of some comfort to some people, definitely. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. Yeah, I'm therefore selfish, and I think it is a defence mechanism. Like I say, if I get criticised, I go into defence mode. My back gets up. But it's hard to take criticism as a borderline. It is really hard to take criticism. It's lovely how many years we've been with. Almost 20 years we've been together, yeah. So she is amazing. She is. Fred, my wife. Oh, you're back, Fred. Nice one. My wife is also amazing. She doesn't understand or agree. But she's your wife, Fred, and she loves you, doesn't she? It's nice hearing other guys say that. My wife is amazing.
Don't get me wrong, she's a pain in the arse sometimes as well. She is a pain in the arse sometimes, but I'm a bigger pain in the arse. But she's my pain in the arse. Do you know what I mean? I can call her a pain in the arse. Anyone else calls her a pain in the arse, you're going to get a sharp word or two from me, but she's my pain in the arse and I'm her pain in the arse. And we have an amazing marriage. We have so much trust in our marriage, you know, so much trust. You know, we've got the kind of marriage, I could put my phone down. My wife can pick my phone, go into my phone. I've got nothing to hide. She's got nothing to hide. I go to the pub with my friends. She'll say, don't ring me while you're out drunk. I don't want to hear from you. You know, where other relationships, you know, they're on the phone to the partners, what you're up to, who you're chatting to. We have a completely honest relationship, you know. And we are madly in love, but all of that is a massive respect that I have for her. I think you've got to respect your wife, haven't you? If you don't respect them, then how can you love them truly deeply? I think that's just my take on it. How did you meet? I actually answered this the other night. I was on leave, walked into a bar, caught her eye. She caught my eye, and I said to my mate at the end of the bar, she's nice, I like her. And he was like, for God's sake. He said, the lass is working. And she dealt with a rowdy pub goer. She literally just dragged this guy over the bar, spoke to the bouncers, they kicked him out. It was a Saturday night busy, and I asked her for a number, and she was a bit shy. And she gave me a number, and I said, what time do you finish work? She went, bloody hell, you're a bit forward, aren't you? And I said, sorry. And then I rang her about 11 o'clock, and I just said, hi, I met you earlier on, it's Jay. And we started chatting for 10 minutes. She said, what are you up to? I said, well, I'm going to go to this particular bar if you fancy coming. Like, what time do you finish work? And she did. She went home, she got changed, she come to the bar, and she looked $1 million. And that was it. I was on leave. A couple of days later, I literally moved in. You just know, don't you? You just know. She's amazing. Your wife knows she's loved. That's good, Fred, isn't it? I mean, that's the one thing as well with borderlines. We know how to love, and we also know how to hate, don't we, in equal measure, and that's difficult. But like, my wife knows she's loved. She knows the love is real, but she knows the hate is my mental illness, and that's good if your partner can differentiate between the two. Everything you're saying is helping. Thank you, Nicola. Well, that's good. OG Mama, good evening, Jay. Good evening. My cats are going nuts. My little puppy hasn't moved since she had a big shit on a puppy pad about 2 hours ago. Bless her. Yeah, same here. When she has a tantrum, I wait until she's finished and I say, better now, and she laughs. Yeah. My wife usually says to me, are you finished? How are you feeling tonight, Jay? I've perked up a little bit, Nicole. Actually, being on here has helped, but the dark cloud's still there. Like I say, I think a lot of it is down to my missus. The fact that she's gone to the UK, and I worry about her, and you know, I've seen her struggling the last couple of weeks with the grief, and not been able to really help her. You know, not been able, sometimes not finding the right words. Just, I don't know, just feeling helpless, I suppose, and it's very easy to feel helpless when you're borderline. I think anyone on here who's got borderline can understand what I mean by that. You can feel that you always want to do more, don't you? You know, you always want to be that bit extra. So I know I have helped her. I know my words have been comfort. I know I have been there for her, and you know, she's done a lot of crying and we've done a lot of hugging. But still, I feel like I can do more. So when I dropped her off this morning, then I felt alone and I felt helpless, and then I had a breakdown, and then I've told her about it tonight, and she's on the phone. I said, listen, I told you because we're always honest. I said, but I don't want you to dwell on it. I'm fine. I'm just having one of them days. Be with your family, you know. But if I hadn't have told her, she knew on the phone. She knew by my voice on the phone. Obviously, she'll have known by my TikTok today anyway, but she would have known regardless. Gave my wife phone the other day to read something. Went in the kitchen and said, good job you trust me. And that's a great thing, Fred, isn't it? I mean, I see fellas. I mean, I have a mobile phone business. I see fellas come in my shop, and you've got to get into the phone to fix it. You've got your passcode, and they look at you, and the wife's there, and you think they don't want to give me the passcode, so they take the phone off you. They put it in themselves, and you think, wow. See, my wife would say it for me. Say, what's your passcode? She'd go, but, and she'd come out with it, and she'd tell them, you know, we have no secrets whatsoever. At all. Every day really is a different day, isn't it? We've all got it. Every day is a different day. Her ex used to argue that, and that made it worse. I learned to wait till the end. Do you know what, Fred? You're just like me. Sometimes it's best to just let them get it out of the system. isn't it? Best to just let them get it out of the system, and whether it's your fault or not, doesn't matter, does it? Just let them get it out of the system. And I don't mean that them as in all women, I just mean your wife. Just let her, if she's on a rant or she's in a bad mood, let her get it out of the system. Because let's face it, when I'm having an episode, there's nothing she can say or do with me. She's got to let me get it out of my system. So I was thinking it's probably because she's away from you. I think it is, Marissa, yeah. And like I say, we're our own worst enemy, really, because we're always together, and we love being together. Like I say, we work together, live together, shop together, we go out together. The only thing we do different is I play golf once a month, which I'm not very good at, but it's a day out, and she gets time to herself, which she loves, in the house with the babies and our animals and stuff, and my son. I play football, but that's only an hour or so every so often, and we do everything together. We literally do, and it's just the way we are. So when we're not together, it's like, yeah, she'll be struggling tonight, and I know her. She'll be. She said to me on the phone tonight, I can't wait to come home. Obviously, she's got a tough couple of days ahead of her as well, but she already can't wait to come home. So I'm just going to change the speaker, guys. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to unplug this so that the sound will change slightly, just so I can put my charger in. How does that sound? Does that still sound okay, though? I'm just using the speaker on the phone now rather than this around my neck. It just gives it a better sound, and I've got a cramp in my toe. Sometimes I have to answer a phone. Oh, I do sometimes, yeah. My missus' phone will ring and I'll answer it, and people are surprised I answer the phone. She answers mine. I mean, I have one SIM in my phone, but I have two WhatsApps, a business one, which is my business number, and I have a private one, which is for sort of my football groups and friends and things like that. My phone will ring, she'll answer it. No problem. Usually, like I say, it's work, and she'll answer it and she'll deal with it, or she'll pass it on to me, whatever. But yeah, I mean, my phone is there. Sometimes if my battery's dying on my phone and we're in the car and she's nipping in somewhere, she's going to be 10 minutes, I say, lend us your phone, and I'll just sit on the phone and play Candy Crush or something, or I'll flick through her Facebook because it's more interesting than mine. You get fed up with your own. No secrets whatsoever. Only time we're not together is when she's in work. Yeah, well, yeah, for in your situation, Fred, yeah, I get that, but like I say, we did work together in the one store, but we've now opened a pet store, so she's there. I'm in my mobile shop, but she still spends time in both, between them. So we know each other's passcodes and pin codes. Yeah, we're the same. We both have the same passcodes and pin codes. Do you ever listen to Hayley comment on it? Hayley joined my live last Wednesday with Lisa. We did a live, just some more information on the John George case. I don't know if you've been following that, Marissa. Hayley come and joined the live, and it was nice actually, because she's got such a following. I'd heard about her, I'd heard good things about her, I'd heard bad things about her, and she joined my live, and I just thought she was a really nice person. I ain't got anything bad to say about her whatsoever. I would actually like to. I'd like to see if Hayley could maybe one night do a live with me, just to help with the mental health, just to basically, yeah, to use her following as well. Because if I could use someone like her, use is the wrong word. I think you know what I mean, is to take advantage of her following. But I would say that to her, to be able to help use her following, to help get more eyes and ears on my little lives and get more men to open up. That would be great. I know I saw Hayley is great. I've been following her for about 15 months. Well, I've only just started following her. So, yeah, I do actually like her. She gets a lot of shit as well, doesn't she? But there's other people on here who get a lot of shit. I mean, the guy down the Rapids, he gets a lot of shit. But you know what? I ain't got an issue with the guy. I quite like him. I've spoke to him on WhatsApp. I actually have his number. And I chat the guy only today. He left me a voice message, and I left him one because he's a nice guy, and he gets a lot of crap. And he said to me a few weeks ago about us doing a live, and he said to me what he doesn't want the shit that he gets to affect me. And I said, at the end of the day, not everyone's going to like you. I think he's a nice guy. I think Hayley's a nice girl. I call her a girl because she's obviously a lot younger than me. But she's just a young mother. I think she said she's got 3 daughters. She's suffered her own trauma in her life. I think she said she was recovering addiction from a few years ago. So she's gone through shit. So for people to go online, there's a guy on YouTube. I messaged her today. He said, "Have you seen this idiot?" She went, "Oh my God." There's one guy just makes videos hating on her. And I just think to myself, get a life, pal. You know, she's living rent free in your bloody head. Get a grip. You're a grown man, and all you're doing is making videos slagging this person off, when all I've seen her do is good things. So I ain't got an issue with her. I ain't got an issue with Down the Rapids. I ain't got an issue with a lot of people. But obviously, people are always going to take issue. I think I'll get to that point. You know, at the moment, I've got nearly 8,000 followers, and that's gone up quickly in the last 3 weeks. I want to get to 20, 30, 40, 50,000 followers, because the more people that are watching my lives, the more people I'm going to get to help, and hopefully we'll go and get help. But I'm going to start getting the hate. I will start getting the hate, but I'm thick-skinned enough to deal with that. And if it got to the point where it was bad and I was in that kind of mood, I'd just give my phone to my missus. You know, I'd just come off TikTok for a day. I'd just put a video on, say, guys, I'm coming off TikTok for the day, not in the mood, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I do. You know, I'm not on TikTok to make money for myself. Anything I do ever make from TikTok, everyone knows about my plan with the homeless. If you don't, go on my profile. There's a QR code I put on, and I will keep putting it on. I've got a plan on going to the UK and living with the homeless, and I need to raise money to do that. People keep saying they're going to go on there and raise and donate, but nobody is doing it at the moment. And I understand. I understand we live in a world where I know a lot of people haven't got money, but it's something I want to do. And by raising awareness and getting my following up, I can go and do that. So I just want to do good on here. And like Hayley, she only wants to do good. Like Down the Rapids wants to do good. Like other people want to do good. And there's so many different profiles on here. You've got people making funny videos, and we all watch them, laugh. There's some great voiceover people on there, you know, and I think they're brilliant. Some of them are really, really good. There's all kinds of different people, and a lot of them get a lot of hate, and a lot of them get a lot of praise. A clapback's a legendary, yeah. I've seen a couple of them. I have. I think I'm the oldest at 57. 51, Marissa. So we're all knocking on a bit, eh? Jesus, we can. I'm getting WhatsApps here from the football group. Just the lads chatting about the game they played earlier tonight. I'll join in that later on. I should have just turned the notifications off while I'm on here. That's a good thing to do next time, isn't it? When people get big on here, the jealous ones come out to play. Do you know what, Marissa? I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, because I've got one hell of a sharp tongue on me, and I'll just... Baby girl, come on, out with there, come on. Sorry, my little dog's decided she wants to go in the conservatory, and she has a little knack of this time of night going out there and just picking on the cats. So she'll get up on her bed. So yeah, I look forward to it. Bring them on. And it's just jealousy, isn't it? It is just jealousy with people. So let them get on with it. You know what? Bring them on. I mean, I had Duncan Smith calling me out on YouTube the other week about the John George thing. Well, he fell foul, didn't he? Because he came out and called the whole family scumbags, and the whole family. I mean, he's talking about the whole family. I'm talking about children, grandmas, aunties, great aunties. The whole family he called scumbags. Well, guess what's happened to Duncan Smith on YouTube? He's been shut down. And people like that don't deserve to have a platform. I'm sorry, we can all have an opinion, but it's how you voice that opinion, isn't it? And voicing your opinion by calling the whole family of somebody who's tragically lost a life scumbags, that's what he did. So there's only one scumbag in this whole conversation, that was him. My wife, exactly 10 years younger than me, share a birthday and married on birthdays. Wow, so you both got the same birthday, Fred? That's awesome. There's 10 years between me and Kay anyway. I know you can't believe she's 10 years older than me, guys, but yeah. Now, Kay's 43 and I'm 53. I'm 54 in April. She's 54 in June. Let's have a look. Jay, you did really well with helping for John George. You will get them, mate. Be strong for yourself. I am, Lily. Thank you. Bonnie Clyde followed the live creator. Thank you for following me, Bonnie. Bonnie Clyde. Yep, 9967, 9977. Sorry, I'm reading that wrong. Let me just work this out while you've written that. And married. So I get it, yeah. So you were 9 to the 967, she's 9 to the 977. And you were married on the 9th of the 9th, 23. Wow, I'll tell you what, mate, you're not daft, are you? You save on a fortune, aren't you? Yeah? Both your birthdays and your anniversary on the same day. Gee, up there for thinking, down there for dancing, pal. Why didn't I think about that, eh? Getting married on one of our birthdays at least to save some money. You clever bugger. I have a lot of people in my family that have been involved in drugs, etc. Duncan don't live in the real world. Now Duncan's, he's a knob. I'm sorry, but people like that are just, yeah. Oh, there she is. There's my baby. Kay's just joined. Michelle Thomas. I was married on the 4th of June, 77. Lily, you're showing your age. 4th of June, 77. I was 6 years old. Yep, I'm not daft and I won't forget anniversary. So when she mentions birthday, I know it's near. Well, yep. And I suppose you just stick a tenner in a card and she'll put one in yours. So you just, see, it's safest way. You save your money on a card, save your money on a gift, and just get up and just have a normal day. I was 9. Yeah, even see. So Lily, you're showing your age on here, darling. Yeah, I've got some charge now, guys. I was going to go, but I'm starting to feel a bit happier. You guys have really made me feel much better. I was 4. Yeah. We've had a good turnout tonight. It's going up and it's going down. And I tell you what I did notice tonight, when I started a lot later, there was a lot more people on the news. And I think 7 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock UK time, people are just getting over finishing the evening meals off and doing the washing and doing chores and things. So I think coming on later was miles better. Funny thing is, if we want something and can afford it, we just get it. It makes birthdays difficult. Yeah, I get you. We're a bit like that, and sometimes, I mean, we don't really celebrate Christmas. When Christmas comes, it's always a sad time for us, for one thing or another, loss of life, family members, and things like that. But Christmas for us is just, we never really bother at Christmas, and it comes to Christmas and we have a mad rush round, and I said, have you got me anything? She says no, and I say, well, what would you want? She says she doesn't want anything, and come Christmas she pulls out half a dozen gifts of surprises. Now I've learnt my lesson. Now every year I'm just going to go out and buy surprises, and one year she might not actually buy me anything, I won't care, but at least I'm going to get her something. I was 19. Funny thing is, I was 19 years old, didn't get my first baby till I was 21, came out with her on my 21st birthday. So you were 19 when I was, so you're 13 years, so you're 66 then, Lily, 66, 67ish, yeah? You're still only a young pup. That's no age, is it? That's no age. No more comments. So 9th of the 9th, 9th of September, right? Sorry. We lost wife's dad on the 8th of March and mum on the 27th last year, so we didn't bother with Christmas. Yeah, and sometimes, like I say, I didn't grow up with a big family. But I get these families who have these big Christmases where, Christmas days where they have like a dozen people around the table, mum and dad and the kids, and then they've got their mum and dad, grandparents, and then maybe his brothers and sisters and their wives and kids can all be there for Christmas dinner one big massive day, and it's great, it's wonderful, it's wonderful, and I didn't have that as a kid growing up, and I did miss out on a lot that way. But then you look on the other end when you've got them Christmas and all the memories, and then all of a sudden you lose your mum or you lose your dad or a brother or a son or something, that Christmas, then that whole dynamic is just absolutely shattered, isn't it? It is. It must be so difficult. Yes, I became a pensioner last May. I have an illness, but still like the beer controllers. The beer controllers. Am I like the beer controllers? Lol. Explain what that means to me, Lily. Beer controllers. Is that supposed to be Bay City Rollers? I'm thinking that's a typo. Bay City Rollers. Bay City Rollers, yeah. It had to be Fred, didn't it? Yeah. I was never into the Bay City Rollers. My first memories of music was bloody Shawaddy Waddy, Moon of Love and things like that. My dad, my real dad was mad into like Deep Purple and stuff like that. My music taste come from my uncle, actually. He was like into like Dexy's Midnight Runners and like the stuff that mainstream stuff, really. Who is that just joined there? Edgar Trimble. Edgar, thanks for joining. Where are we at now? My first record was Three Little Fish by John Pertwee. Love Patsy Cline. Are you crazy for it? See what I did there? Did you see what I did there, Lily? See, I'm really perking up now, guys. You've really made me feel much better today. Three Little Fish by John Pertwee. Wow, there's a guy. Remember who did Wurzel Gummidge? Cup of tea and a slice of cake, Aunt Sally, eh? Bless him, he's gone. And Una Stubbs has gone now as well, hasn't she? That was amazing, that, as a kid growing up. Yes, my best song, you'll love it. Worked Rummage. Wurzel Gummidge. Wurzel Gummidge. Typo, Fred, yeah? Using Lily's keyboard. Wurzel Gummidge. Yeah, Wurzel Gummidge was brilliant. His son is an actor too. Yes, he is, yes, he is. Yeah, typo. I got it, mate. I knew what you meant. It was brilliant though. Wurzel Gummidge, when you think about it, yeah? I mean, what a great profile picture that would be for a borderline personality page. All the different personalities. He had a different head, didn't he, for every single day? I mean, wow. Bill Pertwee, yeah. Bill Pertwee. Wurzel Gummidge, I mean, he's the original borderline, wasn't he? All them different heads he put on. Different heads. He had a thinking head and a happy head and a miserable head and an angry head. It explains borderline, doesn't it? Have you seen the film Bank of Dave? No, I haven't. I will look for it though. I will look for it. Bill Pertwee, yeah. I've seen a few things. It's brilliant. They're doing a second now. Bank of Dave. I'm gonna have to look for that. I'll tell you what I have been watching. I started watching it the other night, and I always see these clips of it on YouTube, and it's Car Share, Peter Kay. With Peter Kay and is it somebody Gibson she's called? Both brilliant in it. And I always see the clip of the dogging one where she says, "I'm going dogging tonight," and he's like, "You what? Going dogging?" She says, "Yeah, I'm going dogging. I'll go with old John down the road," and he's laughing his tits off in the car. And she thinks dogging means you take your dog for a walk. So eventually she pulls over and chats to a guy with a dog and says to him, "Do you go dogging?" He says, Yeah, I go dogging all the time with the wife." And then the conversation come out and she says, "So you really like dogging?" He says, "Yeah, you've never lived until you've done it in a car with a load of people watching. You put the window down off the drive," and it's funny, and I've always seen that clip. So I started watching Car Share. Absolutely brilliant. It's just, yeah, Michelle, it is good in it. I've just started the second series last night, and it was the episode where she's moved to her sister's, and he decides to drop her off one night because it's raining, and he's like, "I may as well pick you up in the morning." And you can see, don't tell me, because I know it's coming, they're going to get together. And I think that the way that relationship's blossomed in the car has been really good. Yeah, I can see they're going to get together, but I think it's just brilliant. It's really, really good. It is really, really good. I'll watch a couple of episodes tonight before I go up to bed. I might even go watch them, but I'll probably sit up most of the night. Roy Kinnear's son, Rory Kinnear, is in the Bank of Dave. He's also in The Diplomat. Great actor. Rory Kinnear. I do recognise that name. I remember Roy Kinnear. He was in all sorts, wasn't he? Never seen Car Share. My wife says it's good. It's not the sort of thing I would be into, Fred, but I must admit I've watched it the last 3 or 4 nights. I've just watched a couple of episodes, only half-hour episodes. A couple of hours you can get through like 4 or 5 episodes. What about Bank of J? You deserve a lot of happiness and love. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. Thanks for that. I have got happiness in my life. I'm married to the most amazing woman. I've got a really wonderful son who's upstairs on his Xbox. He'll be itching to come down for some food soon. I don't know why he doesn't come down. But I'll never get him on here. But I have got a lot in my life to be happy about and a lot of my life to be thankful about, to be honest. You know, I have my own business. My wife has her own business. You know, we have a lovely home. We're not rich by any means. People think when you have your own business, you're just naturally rich. You know, taxes take a lot of your money. But, you know, we go out for nice meals. You know, we go for breakfast a few mornings a week. We don't drive around in fancy Range Rovers and things like that. We've got an Alfa Romeo car. It's 10-year-old. It's a lovely car. Flying machine. We look after it. In fact, it's going for its ITV, which is MOT this week. Just had a few little niggly bits done it last week. Bulbs, oil change, that kind of stuff. And we have a lot to be thankful for and a lot to be happy for. Like I say, I have a wonderful wife. She's got an even more wonderful husband, you know, but you all know that. We have a lot to be happy about and a lot to be thankful for. But again, this BPD always throws a spanner in the frigging works, to be honest. It always does. I'm going to watch. I might actually watch an episode of Bank of Daylight. Can just someone give me a quick idea what it's actually about, though? What it's actually about. Ian Finnegan joined. Let me just see these people. So I don't follow these people. I'm going to follow them back. So I'll follow you back. How do you say your name? How do I pronounce that? It says Ain. Roy Kinnear died making a film, Return of the Three Musketeers, and broke his pelvis. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Anya. Thank you, Anya. That's an Irish name then, isn't it? I've got a niece called Saoirse, so you'll know that's an Irish name. And you look at the spelling of it, it's crazy, isn't it? Some of the Irish spellings, I love them. I love the way they spell names. It's about a bloke that helps his town lend him money, and he makes first bank in 150 years. It's in Burnley. Is it a comedy, Fred? Or is it a serious, is it a drama, serious programme? Three joined. Perfect, yes, Irish name. No one ever get them right the first go. There's a comedian, isn't there? I'm trying to think who it is now. And he talks about Irish names. It's him who was on Not Going Out. Tell me his name. He does a skit about Irish names, and he's absolutely brilliant. Someone tell me what the name of the guy is off Not Going Out. Lee Mack. It's company Lee Mack. Look for Lee Mack on YouTube and just type in Lee Mack Irish names and watch it. Yeah, watch that, Fred. I don't know if have you ever seen his skit about the Irish names. Oh my God, it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. My name is always called with a joke, Orange Lil. Must watch it. And yet watch it, Lee Mack, and just type in on YouTube, Lee Mack, Irish names. Oh, it's hilarious how he gets it spot on. He's not insulting either. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant how he says, you know, how you spell it, and he says, and that's spelled with a sound. No, you put an L in it, and it's just hilarious. You got to watch it. Really, really good. Lee Mack is funny. I never used to watch Not Going Out because it was like, that was a bit more slapstick for me, but when he's actually doing his stand-up, Lee Mack is hilarious. Really funny. Yeah, he is really good. So which part of the world are you from, Anya? Obviously somewhere in Ireland, but you might not actually live there anymore. I'm just asking. I've had a lot of people from Ireland follow me in recent weeks, obviously with our link with the John George case. Haven of Hope, Spain. Let me find that. Where's that gone? Belfast. Haven of Hope, Spain was on there then. What was that? That's gone. Came on and gone. Must watch it. Tim Vine is brilliant and fast. I'm not. Yeah, he is, but he's not my Belfast. So, do you know the family, Anya? Haven of Hope, Spain. It's me. Who is me? Who is Haven of Hope in Spain? I'm going to follow you back. I know who that is. I know it is. Danielle, tell me I'm right. Danielle. Oh, I can't get off my bleeding screen. Danielle, yes. How are you doing, Danielle? Kay's not here, you know she's in the UK. Yes, I followed you after John's story. Thank you, Anya. It's the funeral, isn't it, on Saturday, I believe. That was horrific, that, wasn't it, what happened to that family? It really was bad. It was terrible, to be honest, actually. Just put some more light on this situation. My little kitten's looking at me. He's ready for his bed. He's looking for a cuddle. Not really knew John briefly years ago. So sad. Yeah. Hi, Jojo. How are you doing? Danielle. How are you doing, Danielle? Exciting things in the future for us all, eh? Conversation we all had. Well, you and Kay had yesterday. Really excited by it. Laura. Evening, Jojo. And do you know what? We've had quite a few blokes on tonight, and there's no disrespect to you women. I want to make a massive difference to fellas, because like we say, fellas never ever ever talk about the mental health. They never ever open up. it's almost like it's taboo, isn't it, for a man to just say, I need some help. But them 4 words can change your life. I need some help. And we've had quite a few more fellas on tonight. A lot of them haven't stayed along. Fred's been great tonight. Fred's opened up and he's nice and honest, which is good. And I think you guys, if you haven't followed Fred, I don't know if he's still on. Are you still there, Fred? If you haven't followed Fred, go follow Fred. He does a live on a Thursday night and he does some art, and some of his artwork's all linked to mental health. There he is. Oh right, get your mate on Thursday. Definitely do it. Yeah, he's here. So any of you guys on here, follow Fred Big Ox. On Thursday night he does a live similar to myself, talks about his mental health, and he does a bit of painting. He's got he does painting as a coping mechanism, which is great. And he does some paintings, and they're all sort of mental health linked and really different. We have Andy's club in Essex. It's only for men. It's a good thing. I'd like to start an Andy's club where I am. It's going to give me. There's so many things through doing this that I'd love to do, but obviously I have businesses and I have my life. It's just finding the time, isn't it? You know what I can't do is if I take on too much, and then this goes tits up, then I've got to let people down. I've got to let people down, and for a borderline, letting people down, it's become the norm. I mean, I told this the other week, the amount of times I've went out and bought new shoes or new shirt or a completely new outfit, looking forward to going to a wedding or a party or just a night out, and then sometimes within 20 minutes of when I'm due to leave the house, I just don't want to go, and I'll say something like, work, I've got to go to work, I've got a call out, or I've been called out to work, or whatever it may be, and that's forever letting people down with BPD, and that's something that obviously we try to get away from. So I can't take on too much, but I would love to start something like an Andy's club. I even call it Jay's club. You know, why not? But yeah, it'd be something nice to do. But like I say, I tried something recently on Facebook out here, and it literally just fell flat on its arse. And there's so many men out here, so many men. But again, out in Spain, there's a lot of older people. A lot of people come out here to retire, and old school men, 65, 70-year-old. It's going to be hard to get them to open up now. It's going to be very hard. You know, they're old school men, and getting them to open up and be honest and talk about mental health. But yeah, it is a good idea. But the only thing is, I don't want to take on too much, because taking on too much and letting people down. And then, like I say, I have my own life, and I've got other things in the pipeline in the future, big things, me and my wife and my family and other people involved, as well as this TikTok, as well as YouTube, as well as wanting to do my homeless project, which I am going to do. So I've already got a lot on my plate. But yeah, it is a good idea. I followed that Andy's club the other day. It's really good. Really, they've got so many places over the UK, haven't they? So I have some of these questions. Let's have a look at what we got. Andy's club in Essex, yeah. Sent a friendship necklace, thank you very much. Espresso, I could do with a coffee actually. My football team really big into mental health after ex-player and a young fan on a live. Wow, yeah. Well, like I say, Fred, I don't know if you were on earlier. I was part of a team out here a while ago, and I could see the looks I was getting from people. Like, I'm a bit of an odd character. I am a bit of an oddball at times, and I say that in the nicest possible terms. I don't want anyone with mental health to think he's calling people with mental health an oddball. You know what I mean by that. I think anyone on here with mental health understands that's coming from a good place. The best way to describe us, isn't it? Instead of describing us as idiots and freaks and lunatics and stuff like people do, we're oddballs. We're odd characters, but we're good characters. And I thought what I was going to do is I put a post on the group page explaining to the guys, a long post, took me hours to write, and it went on a bit like us BPDs do. We go on a bit, and it was just basically telling people about my mental health and, you know, just to understand it. And they basically just fucked me off. And a few weeks after that, my son was killed, and not one of them sent a message of condolence, how you doing, or anything. So my mental health honesty cost me that, really. And then I joined a new team about 4 months ago, and I've struggled a bit lately, and it came out of football the other week. It wasn't my fault. I didn't help the situation. Somebody snapped at me, I snapped back, and I should have just walked away. But again, I'm not a walking away kind of person. And what I didn't want to do was fall foul with these guys. I didn't want to lose out on this group, because they are a good bunch of fellas. and I do enjoy them. I enjoy playing football with them. It's a good social side for us fellas over 50. It is just walking football, but it's just a good social side. You know, you play footy, win, lose or draw. Everyone wants to come off the pitch healthy. Everyone wants to just go back to the team where you're playing pub and have a bite to. There's always a bit of free food on, sandwiches and things. Have a pint or a coffee, whatever you want to do, and go home knowing you've had a good time with some fellas, and that's what it's about. So one of my videos I sent to the group last week, and they've all watched it, and I went to football tonight just to see the guys, not to play, I wasn't in the space, but just to see them for an hour, just to make myself feel better. And the love I got from them was unbelievable. It was wonderful. And it's nice that, you know, and that was every single one of them. Every single one of them come up to me at some point and shook my hand. Most of them hugged me as well. And I've never felt that from them. So, you know, I've been welcomed. And it was amazing for me seeing that. And I think as the hours have gone on, coming on here, chatting to you guys, I think that what's happened. My wife's been on here. Some great positive stuff from you guys. You've really, really helped me today. And all I can do is say thank you very much. Because although I come on here and my plan is to try and help other people, I also come on here to help myself. And today's been a massive help. I mean, there's only 9 people on here now watching, which is wonderful. But earlier there was like 80, 90 people. And I actually said that then as well. I thank people for tuning in. And I told this little story about football. And for a BPD, anyone on here now with BPD, it's all about acceptance, isn't it? You know, in any walk of life, if you can be in a group or a situation with people, and as long as you can feel accepted, and you know when you're accepted. Tonight I was accepted, and I was accepted as one of the group. It wasn't sympathy I got from the guys, it was just you know, fair play. Yeah, I've seen your video, I totally get you now, and you know, and at least now if I'm ever having a down day or anything, I can just phone the lads up and say, listen lads, I'm having a bit of a tough day today, I don't think I should come to football. The lads will probably say, no, get yourself here, man. At least then if I'm having a down day, I'm a bit miserable, they're not going to go home saying, bloody hell, Jay came to football last night, or I foul mood, like, I brought everybody down. No, at least the guys know, and they're a good bunch of guys. So it's worked well for me this time, being honest, and I will always be honest. And when I come on here, I'm always honest. And a lot of you guys are always honest as well, and I take my hats off to you as well, because none of us know each other, do we? We're all just a bunch of random people sat on a TikTok watching this guy, this oddball, as I always say, just talk about mental health. And if it helps any of you, then wonderful, because it certainly helps me. BPD is all about keeping things manageable. It is. Yeah, Danielle, I know Kay told me that you suffer as well, and my hat off to you, darling, because anyone who lives with this is living with it every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. It's a constant battle. It is a constant battle. I remember you saying about your son when you was helping the George family. Do you know what it was, Marissa, right? When it first happened, sorry, I'm scratching my foot. When it first happened, my wife was following it. It was coming it was about Christmas time. I think Christmas had just happened. We just had Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and my wife had said to me, I remember her saying about this young man that had gone missing. Now, we hear this all the time in Spain. Young men go missing, and then you don't hear anything else, so you just presume they've been found. But this one in particular said, this young man's come over here and he's gone missing, and the family are over here looking for him. They're all arriving sort of today. And I was like, okay, yeah, and I just didn't really take much notice. Then the day before, I think it was the Thursday or the Friday, it was the Thursday before we went searching, she went, listen, the family are here, and I've been in touch with one of the family and told them we live here. I think we should really go and help this family search. And I was like, what? Just tell me about it. She told me about it, and I actually sat and opened my bloody ears and like listened to her instead of just, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. And she said, Jay, look, I lost my son in June, so it was like, this family have possibly lost their son. I mean, I think the family sort of knew that John had fallen foul. So I was like, yeah, we're going to go help. So we went on the Saturday. Danielle was on here. We met Danielle that day, and her and my wife had become good friends. We met Danielle. We went searching on the Saturday all along the beach. We went searching on the Sunday in a different area. I think we've been searching about 4 or 5 days all together with the family. And it was basically because the family, well, Billy's lost a son, and I said to Billy in a message after they'd found John, I just said, my heart goes out for you, Billy. I'm going to give you the space that you want to process this and to grieve. But I said to him, me and you are now members of a club that we never ever wanted to join, and we've both lost our son. and he just sent me a love heart back, and he got what I meant, and that was, I would do it anyway, but I think the fact that we lost our son was the main factor for me. But I had to justify it because I was we'd been sent to a location and Danielle on here, she understands. We were told the location was near my old house. People who've seen the videos will understand. The police told the family where it was. They took them to this place. They laid flowers and we went and laid them ourselves nearby to where we were led to believe where John was. But that day I'd been getting some vile messages and it was like, what's it got to do with you? Keep your nose out and all this kind of stuff. So I made a video just explaining the reason why we'd got involved, and I sort of said, listen, I wasn't going to mention this because it's not about me and it's not about my son, but back in June of last year, my own son was murdered. And I shouldn't have had to justify it, but I did. But that was the main factor for me. When my wife explained it properly and I sat and listened, it was like a family is going through, slightly different circumstances, but still ultimately a family lost their son like I lost my son. So that was the main thing for me, and I would do it again. And we've met some friends in that family, and it's a wonderful family unit, and we will spend time with them, whether we either go to Ireland or they're going to come here, but we will see them all again, and we are in touch, and they are really strong people. But yeah, we've made friends from a really tragic situation. But yeah, it's true what happened to my son, and I shouldn't have had to justify it, but again, this is social media, isn't it? You get some absolute melts on here, and you feel you're justifying it when I shouldn't have had to. See you later, Marissa. You take care. I'll probably join you a bit myself soon. And evening, buddy. Keep smiling. Hiya, Janie. How are you doing? Have you landed then? How are you finding the weather? Janie's from. And I follow you down where you're from. You're somewhere in Wales, if I remember right, Janie. And you've just travelled over, and you've just arrived, and you live up. Your mum lives at Hondon way, doesn't she? What about the Tipsy Terrace? I've got the right person. What was that you just said, Fred? There, you're the oddball. I'm the cue ball. Yeah. I tell you what, we could start a tribute act. Right, said Fred. Couldn't we? We could do that. Both got the bald heads. You can be the gay one, Fred. My BPD is what caused me to move here to Spain, strip my life and rebuild it all again. Fair play to you, Daniel. Yeah, I don't know your story. I know you and Kay talk a lot more, but Kay doesn't just disclose conversations with people to me, and that's something we have. Like, we're on about the trust we have, picking up each other's mobile phones and stuff. Like, I would never go through and read Kay's WhatsApps. I mean, I can pick up Kay's phone and go on a Facebook and go on a Candy Crush and have a look on a TikTok and that, because it's different to mine, but never go in and read a WhatsApp message, because she might have a conversation with someone like Danielle or somebody and it's a private conversation. It's none of my business, and I genuinely don't. But yeah, I know you and Kay talk a lot. Haven of Hope, Spain. Yeah. God bless you both. Thank you. F them all, Jay. You're going to do great things on this platform and find your light in the dark. I think I have, Danielle. I think I've, like to say, there's not many people on now. I've been on here now for 3 hours, and it's just flew by, and I've had such a tough day today. Watching the wife go off, not been there for her, feeling a bit helpless and all that kind of stuff, and had my own breakdown this morning, and really tough day. And then coming on here and just chatting to people. But I did always say, didn't I, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be authentic. So, if I come in here one day and I'm at the point where I want to end it all, I hope I've got the strength to come in here alive, and for people to see that as well. Because for people to understand mental health, they can't just see the happy manic Jay. They can't just see I'm having a bit of a down day. They've got to see every aspect of borderline personality to understand it. They've got to see it all. Some people are only happy when they're causing misery, Fred, and there's a lot of them, isn't there? Like, there is a lot of them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't take it to heart, but I just thought, you know what, for all them people who put comments on about me on some of the YouTubes, I mean, Duncan Smith was the first one did it, put some on basically because we thought it was near my old house. He'd made a comment that it was very suspicious that it was near my... He was almost basically saying I had something to do with John George's death, which I thought was a disgusting thing to say. So it was because of scumbags like him, I thought, you know what, I'll make this thing. So if any of them people who said them comments, let's hope they see that then, and let's see how it genuinely makes them feel. That was why I did it. It was sort of like a poke in the eye to them, to be honest. But yeah, they didn't affect me. Things like that don't affect me. The only thing that affects me, mate, is if you try and hurt my wife or my family, and my wife and family are so well protected by me, and in our bubble, that it's going to take a brave person or a very clever person to ever get close enough to completely damage or destroy my wife and family. So, you know, that's the only time Nasty J will come out. But I've always classed myself as the black sheep of the family. You know what? Nobody wants anything to do with the black sheep until they need black sheep things doing. Do you know what I mean by that? Yeah. And it's right, Fred, isn't it? You know, and that isn't, I'm going to be a bit sexist now, that is the man thing. That's the husband's job, to protect his wife and protect his family. And, you know, wives, obviously the wife protects the family in a different way, but, you know, someone tries to break in my house at night, I'm the one going down the stairs with a baseball bat to stove their head in. I'm the one who's going to protect my family. I'm the one who's going to, you know, put myself at risk. You know, anyone wants to try and get into my bubble and affect my family, then, you know, that's my job. And, you know, that's what all fellas do. But yeah, people like that online, I mean, like, I'm going to get a lot more of it as my YouTube grows. And somebody said to me, somebody on TikTok, someone very, very prominent, and I said to him about starting a YouTube, he said, just keep putting your videos on. It might take months, 6 months to a year before you start getting into your subscribers. You know, you might start off with the first few months only having 50, 60 subscribers, but it'll creep up and just keep mentioning it. He said, but just keep putting your videos out there. He said, and you'll get the hate, just laugh at it, just laugh it off. And you can always block people as well. So, you know, if people get too much, you can block people. My ex-wife only told me about daughter being abused, so I would go and batter him. Yeah, I know. And as a father, God, that's the ultimate, isn't it? That is the ultimate, like, your daughter. I get that, and I totally get where you're coming from, you know, mate. And if you ever decide to go, give me a ring, I'll come with you. I'll hold your coat. And I genuinely mean that. Because that's, no man should ever have to be sat down to be told that his daughter is being abused, no matter what kind of abuse it is. No man wants to hear that, and that would just make any man angry. Any man. So when you do decide to go knock on the person's door, give us a shout, mate. I'll come with you. You know what I mean by that. He's already fallen down the stairs. Oh, that was a tragic thing, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, that was clumsy of him, wasn't it? Oh well, I hope he's not all right. How many times did he fall down the stairs? Was it then one of them stairs where you fall down and you bounce back up and you fall down them again? Because them stairs do exist, from what I'm led to believe. Yeah. Or did he walk into a revolving door? Shannon. It was 2010. He walked into a cupboard too. Yeah, he's clumsy, isn't he? Very clumsy guy. Very clumsy guy. Sharon Hopkins joined. Sharon, let me just check you. Yeah, we do follow. How are you doing, Sharon? I've been on 3 hours now, guys. But if everyone's happy for me to stay, I've got nothing else to do. I'm just sat. My dogs are asleep. I'll have to let them all out soon. I'll get myself to bed in an hour or so. But it's only 11 o'clock here in Spain. It's only 10 o'clock there. Well, 3 minutes past 10 there. So as long as everyone's all right and they don't mind me rattling on, it's just been good for me. I'm starting to feel a bit happier, and maybe that's just because I'm on here, guys. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to wake up in the morning. I don't know how I'm going to be in an hour's time. But right now, feeling good. It's been a pleasure chatting to you people. What's most annoying is he's out now and live with a woman with children same age as his daughter was. Whoa. Yeah. I mean, there's always a letter in the post, isn't there, Fred? I mean, you know, there's always a letter through the door, you know, finding out what his partner's name is. You always pop, you know, somebody could honestly pop a letter through the door and tell her about his past. You know, because I think any woman worth a salt, if they were to receive any letter through the post accusing their partner of being a certain particular person back in the past, they'd have to stand up and question it. And even if they didn't want to ask that person they were with, they can always go and find out, can't they? I contacted the woman and she said she didn't believe me. Wow. Denial, isn't it? Marty Dawn and West, how's you, mate? I'm good. Marty, who is Marty? Marty, let me have a look at you, Marty. I'm good, Marty. Thank you. But I've had a tough day today. Dark day. Clouds have been over me. I've perked up a little bit since I've been on here. Even told her court dates and said check it. Wow, it's mad, isn't it? You've done what you can do, Fred, and I understand. I bet you've lost sleep over that, wondering about her daughters. But you can only do so much without getting yourself into trouble and breaking the law. I mean, that's the sad thing about the world, confidentiality, isn't it? I mean, they're supposed to have these registers and lists and things about people, but yeah, just a bad day, not a bad life. Now, I have had a bit of a shit life, to be honest, Marty, but I've also had a good life, if you know what I mean. Borderline personality does that to you, but yeah, it's been a shit day, but thanks for your words, mate. Which part of the world are you in, Marty? Done all I can. I was thrown out of court for trying to climb into the dock. Well, I mean, probably not your brightest move, mate. I mean, in all them witness, but I get it. I totally get. Yeah, in Belfast. Did I meet you, Marty, over here? Just tell me, did I meet you when we were on the search? Or are you connected to the George family? I'm looking at your photo there. Booze and bite-sized joined. Boozy and bite-sized. Gonna 78. How you doing? Happy face joined. Getting some new people. That's great. Yeah, Marty, I'm sure. So what happened, Fred, when you try to climb into the dock? Were you arrested and charged, or were they sympathetic towards your actions? I mean, you'd like to think in a world like this you were sympathetic. Nobody but my sister was best friends with John, and I knew John. Ah, right, okay. Tragic, wasn't it, mate? Tragic. Awful. It really was awful. And what that family's going through as well is awful. No, my mum and son grabbed me and made me leave. They did you a favour, though. I know, and they did you a favour, Fred, you know that. Listen, every dog will have its day, and I always say, one night you'll be walking out of a Chinese, walking from a takeaway, or you'll be in a carpet, you'll be getting into your car, you'll be walking down a lane, and do you know what will cross your path? It's fate. I always say it, we'll bump into each other. It might not be tomorrow, next week, next month, or even next year, but one day our paths will cross, and there'll only be us two there. That's the way I see it. I stood outside the two doors just starting and they sent a security guard. Yeah, but I mean, they're used to that, mate. They're used to that. It's understandable for someone to react like that. You only reacted like any other man would. Heartbreaking, so sad, not nice. No, it's not. And let's hope the people, I'll call them people, because I'm just learning about TikTok. I'm not sure what words I can use. I was told that if you swear too much, you get banned. Is that right, or am I wrong? I mean, as long as my settings are set to over 18, I'm allowed to. Not that I'm sitting and effing and jeffing anyway, but I'm sure someone told me if you swear too much, you get banned. Is that true, or is that a lie? Yeah, I get banned if I swear. Is that what you're saying, Marty? Too much? Or are you saying, yeah, 100%, you hope the people who did it to court soon? We're getting confused here. So tell me, are you saying yeah about my swearing? Sandy Hacks. I'll follow you back, Sandy. Nice that you've joined. Yeah, okay. So it is true. I just thought because my settings are set to, I think they're set to over 18. I'd have to check that. So got to be careful with the swearing, right? Okay. And I did get a warning last week because I used the S word. Sounds like seaside instead of saying unalived. And I got a warning came on the screen. So I've set up a backup account. Anyone goes on, there's a backup account on my page. Please go on and join it, because if ever these lies were to stop, because I don't mean to be disrespectful, and obviously I'll be careful if I ever swear, and I've got to obviously watch what I say, certain words use, like the word unalived. Like when I hear people say that, I think it's a mental word that we use. I mean, you can't even use the actual word. If swearing is written, you can get warnings. If said, I have heard many swear loads. Yeah, I have. I've heard. I mean, I've watched Hayley Comet, and she swears plenty. I've heard other people swear plenty. I need to do a bit more research on that, because sometimes when we're in a group like this and adults talking, sometimes it's hard to describe things without using sometimes a choice word, if you know what I mean. I mean, not that I want to sit here effing and blinding and things like that, but sometimes you need to use certain words just to get a message across, or a feeling across, or an emotion across, or something. So if somebody writes a swear word, yeah, well, I actually did one the other day. Someone was on about Duncan Smith, and I just put on there about him being a scumbag or something, and I got a thing on, your comments being removed. And I actually put something. I tell you what, the young man in I shouldn't call him a young man. That thing in Southport that went to jail. There was something on there, and I put a comment on there that it wasn't using bad language or anything. My comment was removed for criticising him. Can you believe that? I actually took a screenshot of it. Actually, now you can say something on here, you write it, and they'll remove it, but then you can screenshot it and then put your photo on of the screenshot, and they don't remove it. Isn't that mad? That is mad. Evening, Kiara. I'll follow anyone who's coming on. I'm going to start following you back, guys, because what you all know is some days I can come on in and I might have 200 follows. You can only follow so many in a day. He was in. Now I heard this yesterday, Fred. Someone said he was attacked in prison, and they were on about a particular prison, but there was a voice message on of some Scouse guy saying in the prison he was attacked. But the prison that he was in wasn't Broadmoor, but it wasn't the prison. I've been led to believe that person's in Belmarsh, and the attack happened in a different prison. So I'm not sure if it's true yet. I'm not sure if it's true. Yeah, it was mad, unreal. It was heartbreaking. Poor kids. Marty, that's one thing that I kept saying is, like, through all of this, obviously Billy and Sharon have lost their son, Courtney and Darren have lost a brother, and obviously all the family, but them two little boys, they've lost their daddy, haven't they? Lisa, life in Spain. Hi, Jay. Hi, Lisa. How are you doing? How are you doing? Nice that you could join us. I've been on quite a few hours. I've been on 3 hours now, but I had a really dark day today, a really bad place, and I always promised I'd be authentic and come on here even when I'm feeling like shit. So, whoop, there's a bad word. Even when I'm feeling like shit, I said I would come on, and I have done. And over the course of the few hours, my mood has lifted a little bit. But yeah, I often get like this when, well, like I say, my wife's in the UK. She's at a funeral on Wednesday, sadly, for a dad. So I'm always a bit like this when my wife's not around, to be honest. I don't cope well without her. You know, she's my rock, she's my angel, she's everything, really. Good, thank you. Hope you're okay. Inspirational man, keep pushing. Thank you very much for that. If people see me as an inspirational person, then like I say, borderlines, we don't take praise very well. I'm not gonna argue with people and don't say that, but I just think I'm just an ordinary guy. I like to think myself, I've always said that, I don't think of myself as anything special. I'm no better than you, you're no better than me. We're just human beings, we're just making our mark in this world, and we're just putting one foot in front of the other and just plodding away, and you know, just one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 year at a time, just trying to make the best of our lives. And I am just an ordinary guy. But if people think that whatever I'm doing is having an effect for that, and I inspire some people, then that makes me proud as well. So thank you, really does. Glad to hear. Glad to have helped lift your mood. Fred, do you know what, mate? You've helped lift my mood. That fella falling down the stairs, or you know, I do feel for him. Do you? I mean, falling down the stairs, it's not nice. Sorry, I've just broken something here. I'm fidgeting. That's my BPD. That I fidget a lot. I'm just sat fidgeting like an idiot. Oh, sweet, great guy you are. Thank you. It's mad. I'm worried about my son growing up, buddy. My wee lad is 7. Yeah, I know. Well, that was the main reason why I moved to Spain, Marty. I've got a son who's 19. We've been here nearly 8 years. We took him out of school just before we moved here because he was being bullied, and my son suffered with mild autism as a kid. I wouldn't say he was a strange kid. He just struggled in, large groups and things. If he ever got invited to parties and stuff, which he didn't often anyway, but if he did, he struggled in them situations. But he got bullied at school, and basically, long and short of it, we took him out of school because the school were doing nothing for him. Literally, weren't protecting him. They weren't punishing the bullies, and we took him out of school. And I said to my wife, I said, we're going to move back to Spain. We'd spent a few years here, a few years earlier, seeing what it was like, having a look and see, working out what we needed. And we'd always planned to come back. And the plan was to get him out of England because he's a quiet kid, he's a gamer, he's a lovely kid, but he struggles in social situations with groups of people. He doesn't like all the noise and the screaming and shouting like a lot of young men, And we really worried about him in the UK, so we got him out. And I totally get that. I mean, I look at the UK, and like I say, my wife's back there at the minute. She's staying with family anyway. I mean, she's not going to be going anywhere. She's going to be in any danger, but she was really anxious this morning when I left her. I could see she was anxious, and I think that's why I felt the way I did, because I'm on my own. I haven't got her with me to help me. She was going to the UK. She's going to a funeral for her dad, which is not a nice thing. It's a horrendous thing to do. But I could see how anxious she was about going back to the UK. Obviously, the cold, the place it is, and that's an adult. And I fear for young boys and young girls growing up in the UK. I really do. So I totally get that, Marty. I really do get that, mate. Yeah, and it is. But the fact you've said that sounds. You're obviously a great dad. You obviously love your wee lad. Is that your only kid you got, mate? Or you got other kids? Got other boys, daughters, whatever? Is he your youngest or your oldest or your only one? But you're obviously a good dad. The fact that you worry from him. There's a lot of parents in the UK just. The kids just left to do what they want, aren't they? And they're running wild on the streets, and you hear it all the time. I mean, there's assaults, young kids, 12 and 13, committing some of the most heinous acts. I mean, well, we'd have to talk about that Southport thing again. Look at that, the age of him. You're hearing of attacks from 14-year-olds on 12-year-olds, and I'm talking like severe, really bad crime. You're not talking young kids just doing a bit of shoplifting or smashing a window or, nicking a bike or something. You're talking really serious crimes. What was that? So I'm just going to read some of these comments, guys. Let's have a look. It's mad. Yeah, what about your son? Lisa, life in Spain is very inspirational. Thank you very much. I have extreme PTSD. What is EUPD? What is EUPD? Please, Kiara, I get you. If you have a bad day, Phil, you don't start from scratch, you start from experience. Fred, well said. Yeah, you do. Because I know how I feel. I've perked up a bit on here, and it's helped sort of take my mind off my missus. I know she's safe, and as the night's gone on, I know she's possibly in bed now, or she's probably sat just having a cup of coffee with her mum and a stepmom, because it's lovely that they're all sort of in one place. And she'll be just reminiscing about her dad. They're probably all tearful together, remember that kind of thing, and I know she's safe, so that's helped my mood lift a little bit. You guys have really helped me get through today as well. It's been amazing. When I put a video on this morning telling people I was coming live, but I wasn't in a good place, but I'm still going to do the live. Some of the love I felt today was unbelievable. I was like, wow. So yous have all helped, but I know where I'm at. I know tomorrow's probably going to be pretty much of the same. What I do is I tend to go down to this, and I'll go down a bit more over the next couple of days. I just hope by Thursday, I hope I'm back up by Thursday, but if I'm not, at least on Thursday, if I am a little bit lower, I'm still going to come on a live, and you'll see that, you'll see how my mood's dropped, and you'll see, because like I say, I mean, you have to look at me, my beard's a mess. Normally every single day I trim it and I keep it neat and tidy. For a couple of days now I've not bothered. I've not even shaved my head. I just haven't been asked, and I put on an old t-shirt. I've just literally not asked today, but you guys have really helped. It'll be fine, Marty. Kids today are different, just teach him well, keep him right. Yeah, that's all you can do as a parent, isn't it? Just teach your kids right. And my advice is, and whether it's going to go down well or not, is when I was brought up, I got a clip round the ear. I knew right from wrong. I knew if an adult swore in front of me, I wasn't allowed to swear. Old school parenting, I think, was probably the best way. I'm not talking about beatings and stuff. I'm not about just giving your kid a clip round the ear. Them knowing what's right, grounding them, shouting at them. They know what's right and wrong. Some of this modern parenting now is just There's a massive reason why kids are just running riot on streets. Parents haven't even got control because they were told years ago they weren't allowed to control the kids. They weren't allowed to give the kids a clip round here. They weren't allowed to shout at the kids. Childline came, where kids were phoning Childline and saying, you know, my mum shouted at me, and parents getting arrested. You know, it's mad. We've all heard the stories. I just think as a parent, you've just got to do the best for your kids, and if that means by sometimes being a tough parent, sometimes tough love is a good thing. You know, I think you've just got to raise your kids how you seem fit. It's good to talk to you and nice to listen to. Good to hear you feeling better. Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, I totally understand. It's not nice. I hope he's okay, buddy. It's called being a parent, mate. He'll be okay. My daughter lost her dad. I think you know about my son there, Marty. My son's in a really good place in life now. Like I say, we have one business out here, a mobile phone business, and it's a good industry to be in. It's good. We've also opened a pet store, and that's for my son. So he works in that with my wife, and it just gives him a purpose in life again. And through that, he's going to meet his friends. I mean, my son's not been the sort of lad who goes out nightclubbing and all out, weekends away, drinking and boozing and taking drugs and getting into fights and stuff. He's been not shielded from that because he's never had any interest in it. He's now going to start living his life. He's going to meet the right kind of people, you know, working in the industry with animal rescues and pet stores and things like that. But he loves animals. You know, we've got cats, dogs, a parrot, which has been very quiet tonight, Pico. You know, you can hear him shouting F off and all sorts. So that's a purpose in life for my son, and he's a good kid. Your daughter lost her dad when she was 8 and she switched on. I still tell her, yeah. And you know what? I always say that for a daughter to lose a dad, because I tend to find girls are daddy's girls and boys are mommy's boys, and that must have been tough on her at 8. So however you've managed to raise her, Gwen, you've done very, very well. You've done well that she switched on, and even that trauma of being, 8-year-old, I mean, that's a horrendous age, isn't it, for a young girl? I mean, this day, 8-year-old, the bodies are starting to change, the personalities are starting to change, and to lose your dad, that must have been one hell of a traumatic experience, obviously for you both. But yeah, I know, mate, only the one, and I love my son to bits. He's getting a good upbringing, and the world is mad. Yeah, it is. The world is mad. It is mad, and what drives me mad is how you're being told to raise. You can't raise your children this way. This is how you should raise them. Well, how's that working out for you? Because we have to, like I said, you have to pick up the newspaper or go online, and how many kids are committing serious crimes. How's all that working for you? Not very well, is it? My inbox was always open, mate. I'll wait through the night and check it. Yeah, that's it, Jay. Comments. It is common sense, isn't it, Gwen? I mean, it is. I mean, Jesus. I mean, some of these things you see on the news. I mean, even some of these politicians. I mean, look at what's happened with these gangs. I must say, these gangs in these countries. Rotherham, and you all know what I'm talking about. And the government can't even speak honestly about how they really feel. They're reading from a hymn sheet, aren't they? They're all being told what they're allowed to say, and they're all basically just brushing it under the carpet. Yet, you know, they're not protecting kids, and they're not giving the parents the power to protect their own kids and raise their own kids as they want. They're basically taking it out of your hands. But then when your kids are getting into trouble, whether they're making trouble or just getting involved in situations that can harm them, there's no one there to protect them. You're not allowed to look after them and raise them yourself. You're being told how to do it. The governments are just clueless. They're just clueless. You know, it is common sense how to raise your children. No one's saying beat your kids. No one's saying lock them under the stairs. What we're on about is, you know, if you've got a little 4 or 5-year-old kid and he wants to stick his hands in the fire, you're going to shout, no. You know, but you've got them parents who, you can't shout at your child. Well, you can if he's going to stick his hands in the fire. Of course, you can't shout every time he's going to put his hands in the fire. You know, that's just common sense, isn't it? So, yeah. You know, it's about the punishment fitting the crime. You know, if your son smashed a window over the road, you know, by being an idiot and kicking a ball at a window or something, then you're going to ground your kid and he's going to pay for it out of his pocket money. No Xbox for a few days. That's kind of punishment. I'm not saying you beat your kid. You know, you're not going to lock him under the stairs. But at the same time, if your kid goes out and bullies somebody, then that kid's got to be dealt with accordingly. And it's about common sense. And at the moment, there's not a lot of common senses. The common sense is not very common. That's what I like to say. You got FB, mate, and yeah, well said. If you send me an inbox, Marty, and I'll send you my FB. Do you withdraw from people, Jane? Let me see. Do you withdraw from people, Jay? Nice to hear you talk and express yourself. Tonight I have a little bit. I still feel a dark cloud there, and usually it'll get worse before it gets better. I felt it coming a couple of days ago actually, but obviously with my wife not being in a good place and obviously having to be strong for her, I've been sort of fighting it really. I've been like, I just wanted to break down. I've needed to break down. I felt it inside me, but I've done well to hold it in and be there for her. And as soon as I dropped her off this morning, it just come out, and then it never lifted out. Sometimes you let that release out and you go, "Oh right, okay, I needed that," but no, the day got worse. So today, it's eased a bit tonight through a bit on here chatting, but again, it usually gets worse after a couple of days before it picks up again. But we'll see. But I only like to be honest. I always said when I started this, when I come on here, I'm always going to be honest. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be me. No matter what mood I'm in or what personality I'm in for that day, I'm going to be me. And that's what I've been, And if I am even lower in a couple of days' time, I am going to still try and come. Even if I just come on for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just to show people the different levels of BPD, from being manic and euphoric to just being so low that you want to end it all, But again, you guys are great. My wife is amazing. I've just seen somebody there. Lily. Hiya, Lily. How are you doing? I sent you a follow today. I hope you followed me back. If not, I'm going to kick your ass when I see you. Lily's a friend of our family. She's a lovely girl. Have to go catch her again. Jay, best day tomorrow. I love the parrot. He's been quiet tonight, Gwen. Have you heard him tonight? I haven't heard him. He's been pretty quiet, I think. But usually when it's a bit early, when I start at sort of 6 o'clock UK time, you hear him for an hour or so. But yeah, I don't think anyone's actually heard him swear yet, because he says some of the foulest things. I mean, I don't know where he gets it from. I really, really don't. It's got to be my missus, because it's got to be her. Gwen, thanks for watching tonight. I hope you join us again. How many kids you got, mate? I've got my one boy who lives here, and I got a son who was tragically murdered last June in the UK. So but I've got my son here, Jack. He's a cracking kid. He's a good kid. He like I say, he wants to get out more. But as he's getting older, he's getting more. He's got a hell of a sense of humour. He's like me. I have a good sense of humour. I laugh at most things. I've got a bit of a dark sense of humour as well. I'm old school forces. So some of the jokes I laugh at are like, you couldn't say in public, but heart's in the right place. But my son's a bit like that. He's got my sort of sense of humour. He's a good kid. But yeah, he's a good kid. Hospice, amazing and good family. Thank you very much, Gwen, and thanks for tuning in. Let me just check. Do I follow you, Gwen? No, I'm going to follow you back. You've only got 10 followers. So let's get that up. Anybody who's on here now, click on Gwen, please. Just click on Gwen and follow her. Let everybody on here. Let's get everybody following everybody. Let's get a good community going, because, I mean, it's getting late now. I understand that it was only 15, but at one point tonight we had just short of 100 people on when we first started, and it was early in the night. And I understand that. I think I'm only sat on here now waffling just for comfort with you guys, to be honest. I have a son who's 17. I'm so blessed. He's such a lovely young man. He plays rugby full-time at a rugby... Is that academy or association club? Whereabouts in the UK are you, Kiara? Is it Ireland you from as well? Academy, yeah. Rugby academy. Oh, he must be good then. Fair play to that. And it's good that he's got that as well, because with organisations like that, they'll teach you discipline. The coaches will, won't they? Rugby, and again, rugby. He can't go there and mess around. You get flattened, and there's a good way in it. You set your lip up or act like an idiot there. The coach is just going to say to one of the big guys, flatten him when you get on that. Give him a good tackle. Knock some stuff in out of him. So it's good discipline to get, proper honest discipline. But as much as there'll be discipline, he'll have a great bond with that team as well. And that's good. That's good for all kids. I have chronic post-traumatic stress disorder. My dogs are always showing me love when I'm down. I have a good and bad days like you. And it is, it's like that, isn't it? It's up and down, and it is constantly up and down, and you can't judge it. I'm starting to learn as I get older. I feel it coming. I sort of feel it coming. But mine can be fleeting. Mine can be 10 minutes. I can be in the greatest mood. I can be at work, and we'll have had a customer. I'll say to the wife, "Do us a favour, just lock that door." And she'll lock the door, and I'll just say, "Can I have a hug?" And I'll just sit while she stood over me, and I'll hug her, and I'll cry. And right, I'm okay now. I'll sort myself out. We'll open the door. We'll go again. Yeah, 100%. Deep breaths. Let me just. I do follow you. I love your content. I didn't even know you were on here. Cheers, Lily. Karen. Nanny Karen, I'll follow you back, Karen. Anyone who follows me, I'll try and follow you back. Now, it's not letting me there, Karen, because I've followed so many people today, but next time you're on, I can only follow so many people each day, and I'm getting so many followers each day. I mean, like I say, I've gone up from about 800 or 900 3 weeks ago, pushing up to 8,000 now, and it is growing quickly the more I do these. So, Gwen, cheerio, big hugs to you, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully, it should be probably Thursday I'll be on, but I will let you just keep checking on my TikTok. I always put a video out the night before, the morning of the day, and if I'm going to do a live. Yeah, Kiara, that certainly did happen, yeah. I think it's amazing that you're educating people on mental health, very inspiring. Cheers, Lily. Do you know what it is, Lily, right? It's getting to an age in life, like I say, I'm an old man now to you, Lily. I mean, I'm 53. I'm probably old enough to be your great-granddad, I think, Lily. How old are you now, Lily? 20, 21 or something like that. And it's going through your life and having all these struggles in life and not realising until you're later in life that you've got a serious mental health issue. I mean, you know, there's people out there who claim mental health, isn't there? They claim they've got a mental health issue, but a lot of it's not mental health, you know. There's a lot of people do jump on that bandwagon and try and use it as an excuse to get out of work or to get out of responsibilities. But when you've genuinely got a mental health issue, and you've lived the best part of, I mean, I'm 53, I've known, so since I was 41, 42, I found out a diagnosis. So I've gone 40 odd years of my life, been a pain in the arse to a lot of people I've met, you know, losing a lot of friends, relationships, jobs and all that kind of thing, thinking you're an evil person. And when you get to a stage in your life where you get diagnosed and everything's clear in front of you why these things happened, I think it's my duty and anyone's duty, if they can, to do this kind of thing. Like I say, we've only got 9 people on here now, and it's sort of fluttering up and down. At one point tonight, we had close to 100 people on earlier in the night, and that was 100 people at any one time that were listening to me. So if I could have affected just one person today, if that one person could come off here and go to their wife or husband, I've seen this guy tonight, really masculine guy, you know, big guy, and he was sat talking about his mental health honestly and openly, and that can inspire somebody to do something about it, then I'm proud, and I'm proud of them for actually doing it and watching it. So the more people that can follow me, the more people that can share my profile, the more people that can just keep tuning in, eventually we'll start making a difference. There was a girl last week, young Amy, she was on here, I don't know if she's still on or not. She put a post on a TikTok, she was ready to end it all, and someone sent it to me, and I sent her a message. And I spoke to her for 4 hours on that. My wife's in the conservatory. I'm just sat chatting to this girl. At one point, I asked her how old she was, and she went, "Pardon? Why are you asking my age?" I think she thought I was some kind of a weirdo, because I know there's a lot of people on here that like that. And I just said, no, I'm here to help you. And we spoke for 4 hours. And the next morning, I messaged her and asked her how she was. She was in a much better place, and she thanked me. And I said, "You don't have to thank me. I made a difference. I helped that girl, and people have helped me." You know, so if I can do this, and if I can inspire one person, 2 people, then more, 3, 4, 5, and eventually people can come and watch me and see this big burly guy covered in tattoos with his bald head and his beard, you know, 6'5", nearly 17 stone, sitting on here being honest and open, even on my dark days like today, then there's hope for everybody. That's how I look at it anyway. Billy Valance. I can't follow you back, Billy. I have requested to follow you. There we go. Same in my old school ex-forces humour. Yeah, Fred, and do you know what? as long as it's the right like-minded people. I mean, me and you, ex-forces, like I say, we've never met each other, but you could put us in a bar with a pint, and within 5 minutes, the insults will be going on. You know, you'll be taking the piss out of my regiment I was with. You, well, you wouldn't actually, but I'd be taking the piss out of yours and all that kind of stuff. But it would all be just because we're ex-forces, we just get it. None of us would feel offended. Neither one of us would feel offended, and we can say some of the most crudest things to each other, couldn't we? And we would just laugh and slap each other's back, get pissed, fall in a gutter, call each other knobheads, and phone each other the next day and say, "Oh, you're doing great night." And that's the squaddy humour, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean by that. And some of the jokes we'd come out with, like, if anyone heard us, they'd feel offended. But that's the squaddy humour. Yeah, people keep sharing my life. Thank you. I need to go now, mate. Got to sort stuff before bed. This is the third time you've left, Fred. I think me and you got a thing going. I think you've got a glint in your eye for me, Fred. You'll be back in 10 minutes. You're going to go make a cocoa and you're going to come back, aren't you? I'm joking, mate. You get yourself to bed. You must have been in the Remy then if you got to bed that early. Yeah, and he's doing his A-levels and yes from Northern Ireland, but left 24 years ago. But that's another... Okay, that's another story for another day. That's fine. I'm away to sleep, buddy. Good night. Stay strong, buddy. Marty, thank you very much, and keep in touch. But yeah, if you want to send me an inbox, send me your Facebook or whatever. And we'll, if you go on, if you've got some of the George on there, I'm on their friends list anyway. You should find me there. But I don't know what my settings are. Some people cry wolf, and it's sad, but I think it's amazing that you're so open and willing to share. Thanks, Lily. Yeah. And milk the system, and then the genuine. But yeah, Lily, we know what we're talking about here. That we know somebody who claims to be severely struggling with mental health, and we know he's not. We know he's not. Cheers. I'm 13 months clean from a 20-year tramadol addiction. Wow, 20-year. I was taking 50 pills a day. Billy, that is phenomenal. Well, I actually broke my back, and I got hooked on morphine. So even now when I get a headache, like mine wasn't quite like yours, but I remember having to go in hospital and they had to put me on a drip to wean me off. I was getting all these pains and cramps in my legs and all sorts. It was like a cold turkey. My body was telling me I needed more morphine and I couldn't. But I broke my back. They'd sent me home after my operation to give me a bottle of morphine, patches of morphine, tablets. It was mad, and I was just popping them. And then they were giving me more every other day. I mean, morphine's supposed to be a controlled drug, and they were just giving me bottles and sleeves of these packets. And I got hooked. Thankfully, it was spotted quickly, took me to hospital, got me on a drip, weaned me off them. But now I'm very dubious when I have a headache or a bad stomach or anything. My wife said, take a tablet. I'm like, no, because I just, withdrawals are incredible. Yeah, they are. It's like when people are addicted and they sort of go, well, if my son was addicted to drugs, I'd just chain him to the radiator in the bedroom. You can't do that. People can, you go in the bedroom and that person's no longer with you. That can happen. There's a lot of withdrawals that come. It's painful. It's the cramps and everything. I mean, people break bones with the cramps and stuff. It's awful. Have you heard of the Buvidal injection? No, I haven't, Billy. What is that? I don't know what that is, mate. I'm not aware of what it is. Have you heard it? Wow, amazing, Billy. I got hooked on Oromorph. Yeah, it's an opioid blocker. No, I haven't. So was that something you get hooked on? Is that something that they gave you to get you off these... Follow you back, Deborah. Anyone who's coming on, anyone who comes on, I mean, I can't always follow people back. As you know, you can only follow so many people a day, and sometimes when I've done a live, I can go into my messages and I've got like 200 follow requests, and I go through and try and click and follow them, but right, I'm off, but I'll catch you next time. I hope you have a better day tomorrow. Thanks, Lily. Cheers. You take care, darling. See you around. See you later. Lily actually lives out here in Spain, not far from us. She's a friend of our family. She's a friend of my son's. Lovely girl. I get a monthly Buvidal injection to stop me from taking pills. It stops withdrawals. Right, okay. Fortunately, Billy, mine never got to that stage. Mine was just after an operation. It was literally, I'd gone home. I was laid in bed recovering from spine surgery. and there were just bottles of morphine. I was just, just drinking it. I was going through a bottle every day or so. Tablets, morphine patches, they just threw them at me. Which, looking back on it, was ridiculous, wasn't it? I get broccoli. No, medical, fantastic. I get, yeah. You get broccoli, medical broccoli. Yeah. I used to do that actually, but it got to the point where I was using it to help with the pain from my back, and then I just started doing it just for the sake of it. And I was coming home on a night and just doing it and spending quite a lot of money on it. So I went and got hypnotised. Many years ago out here, I got hypnotised to stop smoking fags and smoking broccoli, as you say. And I was hypnotised many years ago, and actually I don't touch a fag, don't touch anything now. One of the best things I ever did, actually. Been one hell of a journey, mate. I can bet you have, Billy. I bet you have. I'm just going to follow you back, Billy, because you're following me. So, fantastic, Joe. Thank you. Listen, guys, I'm going to shoot off because I've been on here now for the best part of 3.5 hours, and it has flown by. And all I want to say is, not everyone's still on from earlier today, but everyone who has been on today, if they rewatch this back on YouTube or whatever, because I will put it onto YouTube. I always do. It's out there for the world then. Like I say, I'm not bothered about people coming on and criticising me, say, oh, look at that guy sitting waffling shit about his mental. I don't care if people want to come on YouTube and leave a comment. I don't care. I'm making these videos for a reason. If anyone wants to come on and criticise my mental health, then let them come on and criticise my mental health. People who don't care, but I want to put it on YouTube. So anybody who does catch up on it, who was on earlier tonight, thank you very much, because you've really helped me today. A lot of you said some kind words about me, about my wife, and it never ever goes unnoticed, and we always feel the love. There's some great guys on here, some really nice women, some really nice fellas, and like I say, we are slowly building a community, getting the same people coming in every few days, and it will get to the point so where I might just start doing this most nights of the week. Instead of doing it for 3 hours, 4 hours, I might just start doing an hour or so each night, and and then just go from there, because it is a worthwhile thing, and I do feel honoured that you people come on and listen, and I do feel honoured that I'm able to help some people. Hope your wife, dad is out. No, he passed away, Ash, sorry, he passed away a week on Wednesday. I'd done my very first solo live on here, and I came off, and about 50 minutes later she got a phone call that he'd had a heart attack and sadly passed away. So she's in the UK, she went there today, the funeral's Wednesday. She's back Thursday, so no, he's not, sadly. Lovely man as well. Really nice guy. Evening, Rachel. I am just going on, and anyone who comes on now who I haven't been able to follow back because of my daily limits, I'm now just going on. Yeah, she's been struggling, and I've been struggling, and well, we're both struggling a lot at the moment. But it's better. We struggle better when we're together. So, like I say, she's in the UK. I'm here, so it's been a tough day. It has been a tough day, but yeah. Have we got on? Billy, it's an amazing story that. I took a seizure behind the wheel. Oh, I missed that one. Jesus, that must have been horrendous. A lot of people don't know what you can get through medical. No, I know, and I think a lot of people just think it's easy just to meet someone on the street down and buy it that way. But I know what you're saying is a lot of the stuff that people are getting on the street is, medical stuff is proper stuff, isn't it? It's it's not going to make people psychotic and all that. It is medical. I've got to say, I don't suppose I'm allowed to say the M word out of the Mary Jane, broccoli. Yeah, so people are meeting people on street corners getting £20 worth of broccoli in a bag, and it's it's causing people to have psychosis and all sorts, isn't it? But medical stuff, medical grade, is specifically designed for that, so people aren't going to end up psychotic and in that kind of way. Hope your wife. Okay, let me have a look at this. You keep talking, Jay. Thank you. Enjoy listening to you. Hope your funeral goes well for them. You've done great. Did your mental health issues start after what happened to your son, mate? No, Billy, it didn't. When I was younger, my dad married a woman when I was sort of 6 or 7. She abused me for many, many years, physically abused me. And that's what's caused my borderline personality, to be honest. I didn't get diagnosed till I was in my early 40s, about 13 years ago. And when I was diagnosed with borderline personality, and you look up on it, it's caused by childhood trauma, abuse and things like that. So I've got somebody else to thank for this. Yeah, somebody else to thank for this, basically. Use a 509. I will follow you back. Anyone that's popping up now, I will just follow you back. But guys, I'm going to give it about 5 minutes now. I'm going to shoot off because I've been on here now since 8 o'clock. It's 11:15 here. It's 11:15 in UK, so I've been on since 7 o'clock UK time. Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying there, Kat. Is it Kiara? Is that how I pronounce it? It is clean. Like you say, you go and meet someone on the street corner. It's that, it's really powerful stuff, and it's causing young men to have psychosis and all sorts of things. At least that medical stuff, is not. It's been prescribed properly. You're not going to a seedy place. It's medical. You're not going to get into trouble for it and things like that, because it's pretty prevalent in the UK. A lot of young people are using this, going buying bags of broccoli and smoking it all the time, and it's just ruining them, isn't it? Young men, you see them, and they're just out the trees on it. I've been there. I used to do it. Like I say, I started having it for my back, and then it got to the point it was too easy to come home and have one, and then another one, and another one, and another one. It was like, got to the point where I was like, I'm coming home, having one of them and doing nothing. I'm literally doing nothing. I wasn't remembering the night. I was going to work the next day, and it was money, and I just decided to get hypnotised, and I just stopped smoking fags and anything from that moment on. From trauma, yeah. And I'm sure one day you might open up with Kiara as well. I mean, that's what we're doing here. The amount of people that have opened up on here tonight has been absolutely phenomenal. It has really, really, really been phenomenal. So I take my hat off to anybody who's honest like that. And I think you've got to be honest with mental health, haven't you? You've got to be honest. You've got to be. So I'm just putting my speaker back together there because I snapped it in half earlier on. I think honesty is the only way that anyone's ever going to deal with mental health. Like I said earlier on, when I went to see a counsellor initially, and I went in, I was fortunate that I warmed to the counsellor straight away. She was a lovely woman, a really nice one. Ash, I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel. If you go on my TikTok page, at the top there's a YouTube link. I will put it on there so you can see it. She was a lovely woman. I warmed to her. I had many, many sessions, and I opened up, and I never ever held anything back. I literally was an open book, and I sobbed most weeks, going over trauma. It's exhausting. I would go and see her for an hour. Sometimes it'd run over. I'd go home and I'd just be exhausted, like literally exhausted. It is because you're opening wounds, aren't you? You're opening wounds. You're opening traumatic times from a child, and it is exhausting, very exhausting. So yeah, but you've got to be 100% honest. I started writing a book where I took a break, long one. Yeah, same here, Kiara. I've started writing it twice, and yeah, I would like to write one, but I think with modern technology now, rather than write, I'd like to just speak. We've all got our phones, we've all got voice recorders. We can all, or even just sit now like this. I can just do personal videos and don't have to put them out there. I can just make a video and tell my story, and then give it to an editor, publisher, and they can then sift through it, and they do your writing, like a ghostwriter or something. That's an option to do. That's maybe an option for you as well if you've got a book to write it. Yeah, Ash, I'll put it on my YouTube, whether it goes up tonight or in the morning. This is quite a long one. I've been on almost 4 hours, so it'll take some downloading and whatnot. But anyone who's on here, if you please go onto my TikTok page, and at the top is a link for my YouTube. It is only a new YouTube channel. I do plan on growing it over the months and years. It's something I will stick to. I have been told by people who've got very successful YouTube channels to just stick at it, just keep posting often, and eventually your subscribers will go up, your likes will go up. So anyone who wants to go on there, please go to my YouTube. It's on my TikTok. Like and subscribe on my video. Subscribe, like all my videos if you can. Please do leave comments. It's all appreciated. And in time we can link my TikTok with the YouTube, and hopefully we can make a difference. Mundo, thank you very much. I would love to do podcasts. Kiara, that was what I planned on doing about 2 years ago. I wanted to do it. I'd like to actually do podcasts, but I mean, you can do a podcast with two people in different locations, can't you? You know, I'd love to do that and have a genuine. I mean, you can do it on here on TikTok, but I think a genuine podcast that you could upload onto a YouTube channel, you know, that'd be fantastic. That's something I'd be open for. Like, but I'd like to do a podcast with someone who, like myself, suffers with mental health, but maybe a different mental health. If you've got two people on there with BPD, then I think it'd be nice to have a podcast where someone like myself with BPD, maybe someone with, I don't know, depression, anxiety, or whatever it might be, just something completely different. So you're sort of covering most bases of people who are on there, but that would be good. So do it, Billy. You were approached about doing 5 pages in a book about your addiction. You've got to do it, Billy. You've got to get your story out there, like I'm doing now. If you can get your story out there, 5 pages, and that can touch somebody's life and help somebody and save somebody from, you know, becoming like you were that period of your life, then isn't that a good thing? Would I recommend moving to Spain? Hell yeah, I would. There's the missus come back on again. She's probably thinking, there he is, still waffling. She'd be happy to see me smiling a little bit though. Would I recommend moving to Spain, Mondo? Yes, I would. I would, yeah. Yeah, it's not as easy now, is it? Obviously now with Brexit, you've got to get all this visa stuff and all that. It's not as straightforward, but yeah, definitely for anyone who can do it, and you've got a decent trade. Yeah, I mean, for anyone who's got a decent trade, you know, travel agents, estate agencies, or an actual trade, you know, proper time served builders, joiners, sparkies, things like that, mechanics and stuff. Yeah, you know, bet you can set up a business for yourself quite easy. Yeah, Billy, you've got to do it. Even Kiara saying, if you can write 5 pages in a book, and it can change someone's life, Billy, and just prevent them from, you know, happening what happened to you, mate, then I think you've got to do it. You know, you've got to do it, mate. Thinking of it, living in Ireland. Yeah, Ireland's a lovely place, but I get it. You know, it's the UK, isn't it? For me, the UK, it's the weather for me. Me and my wife saw years ago the way the UK was going. You know, the way our son was treated at school. You know, I would work away some weeks, 5 days, 6 days, and you'd still never have enough money at the end of the week after you paid your bills, and everything was too expensive. And you know, we come here now, we work for ourselves, and like I say, we're not always flush, but we always have a meal on the table. We're not worrying too much about bills, and you know, you can always pay your bill, you can always have a nice meal out, and life's just a lot easier, to be honest. We have a home in Turkey. My husband's Turkish. Turkey's lovely. Which part of Turkey, Kiara? Book's going to be called The Gutter. Yep, I've been there, Billy. I've been there. No, I think you should do it, mate. I'd be interested in reading that. You'll be exhausted after this. I will be. I'll be going to bed soon. I'm like I say, I'm going to go shortly. My son needs to come down and let the dogs out anyway. So I only planned on coming on for a couple of hours the way I was feeling, but you know, my mood's lifted a little bit. But like I said, I just want to be authentic and come on here when I'm happy, when I'm low. You know, there's going to be times I get even lower than this. My wife will tell you, you know, times I'm tearful. I was tearful on the phone tonight to her. She'll tell you. I don't hold anything back from her anymore. I don't hold my emotions back. And I do know it's tough for her sometimes to see her husband like that, but I'm going to be the same on here, guys. I'm always going to be authentic, and I'm always going to be real. I'm not going to come on here and say I'm happy if I'm not. I'm not going to come on here and say I'm in a mood if I'm happy. I'm not going to try and force mental health. I will be who I am at that particular day, that particular moment in time. And like I say, some weeks it could just be happy Jay, and then one day I'll come on and everyone will be like, whoa, he's having a shit day. That's what we need people to see. We need people to relate. No, sorry, I didn't mean to send that invitation, Mondo. Just cancel that. I'm just following you back. Sorry, I pressed the wrong one. Book's going to be called In the Gutter, yep. Good night, Mondo. Thanks for tuning in anyway. We'll catch up with you another time. Kalis. I don't know where that... Whereabouts in Turkey is that then? Near Fethiye. Yeah, I know where you are now. You're doing great. You're helping me. Julie Oliver, thank you very much. Anyone who I don't follow on here who's following you, I will follow you back. Like I say, I can't go on there every day and follow everybody back because you're only allowed so many. And some days I come on here and I'll come off here now and there might be 100 odd followers or something. So you can only follow so many. Okay, what's going on there? Sorry, Mondo, I didn't mean to invite you. Can you just? Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean. I meant to actually follow you, and I clicked on the invite. Sorry, I didn't mean to be disrespectful there. Best way to be, Kiara. I've got to come on here, and my plan is to come on here and hopefully reach out to men. Reach out to men like myself who just need to say them 4 words. I need some help, and to be able to reach out and to be able to see a guy like me just sitting on here and being honest and open with my emotions, whether I'm up, whether I'm in the middle, whether I'm sad, happy, miserable, angry, whatever. If they can see me being honest and authentic on here and not bullshitting and trying to pull the wool over people's eyes and just genuinely being me, then hopefully other people will, other men will get something from that, and it'll help them. So, do you know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean by that. I think you do. Mundo, good night. You take care. Let's have a look what we got. Thank you, Jay. Have a great night. Be proud of yourself tonight. You have warmed many people's hearts. Oh, thank you very much, Kiara. Right, guys, listen. It's getting late now. I am going to say good night. It's been an absolute. I could sit here all night. I could do, but for myself, I need to just go and take a bit of a break. I need to ring my missus. I need to speak to her because I've not spoken to her since about 5 or 6 hours ago, and that never happens. We never usually go an hour without speaking to each other, whether it be WhatsApp or whatever on the phone. So I need to speak to my missus. I need to go and make myself a drink. Hopefully I can shake this mood off by tomorrow for work. If not, it's work anyway. I've got to go. Got to be strong for my wife, got to be strong for my son, got to be strong for myself. So guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Love you all. Please take care, and I will upload this to my YouTube. If you go at the top of my TikTok on my bio, you'll see the YouTube link. Please go on there, please subscribe. Please have a look at some of the videos, the past ones I've done, and just give me your honest opinion how we've done from that first live to where we are now. Have I stuck to what I said? Am I being real? Am I being honest? Just be honest with me. Any feedback I can get to help make these videos better for anyone listening, to help anyone, then it's all good, isn't it? I have got a GoFundMe on here, guys. Please go on there. Please try and donate something. You'll read it. There's a bio on there. Just go on there and read it. I don't know if you've been on. I don't know if you've read it, but there's a link. There's a QR code. Just scan it onto your phone. Click on the web link. Go to it on GoFundMe. Read the bio, what it's all about, and you'll get a little bit of a gist about me as well, where I'm coming from. If you can help donate. But please, guys, follow me on here. Subscribe on YouTube. Please like the videos. And I will be seeing you all soon later in the week, probably Thursday, but I will let you all know. I'd like to say good night to everyone, much love, and take care, everyone. And thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's been a great night. And thanks for being there for me as well. Much appreciated. Much love.